all putting in the work, and I'm really happy about that. Okay? Just keep showing up. Keep coming to meetings. That's how this thing works. Okay? Okay, and I see we have a new person at our meeting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Actually, I have an activity we can all do together. We should go to Plastic City Comic-Con. There's just so much to do there. There's comic books, toys, games, anything you can ask for.
Wait, do you work for Plastic City Comic-Con?
Me? Work for Plastic City Comic-Con?
But we're all going to Plastic City Comic-Con, right? I thought so. Now, who here owes me money?
PlasticCityComicCon.com for info and tickets.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots and promoter for the Plastic City Comic-Con. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana, Surrounded by Death, and The Pond for Roger Maraca. And our third co-host, Harry G., graphic artist extraordinaire. What is up, fellas?
What up, dogs?
What up?
What up? What up?
So, Harry, me and Johnny, they've been waiting all week to talk about this. We went to the
AEW. Yeah, I saw that video
you
guys posted.
It was great, man. I haven't been at a live wrestling show, and I can't even tell you how long since I was probably in junior high, maybe, like, back when I was into it hardcore. But it was awesome, really good, really fun.
Any well-known wrestlers or just?
I mean, Chris Jericho, I recognized.
Oh, okay,
and
I know him.
Darby Allin, I recognized. And who else? Johnny, the AEW people don't really know because I haven't been keeping up with it, but Sasha Banks, which her new was it Persona,
Yeah,
I guess.
Sasha Banks is now known as Mercedes Moné in AEW since WWE owns the Sasha Banks name per se. So, she went to New Japan as Mercedes Moné, and then she ported over to AEW as Mercedes Moné. So that was the real big thing that happened at the show we went to, was that it was her debut.
So what's her finisher? Does she paint like a face on somebody's face, or like a mustache or something? Like a Monet painting? How does that work?
That's a good one. Someone should take that up.
At the end of the night, it looks pretty brutal. Sometimes some of these women in wrestling, it impresses me the beatings that they can take, and then they can administer that. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you ever watch a UFC women's fight? Those are pretty brutal too.
Yeah. Some of the oh God, who's that girl that was in movies? In
Ronda Rousey.
I saw some of her stuff and brutal.
She was.
I never want to be on her bad side.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being her boyfriend and pissing her off? Oh God.
Speaking of bad side, I'm not going to reveal Picasso's finish move. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's after hours. I don't want
to. One thing I want to say about Rousey,
background that you can't see.
Yeah. Ronda Rousey has that permanent bitch face too. Like, she always looks like she's angry,
She's mad at everybody.
Does she still have Piper's gimmick? Roddy Piper's gimmick? Isn't she Ronda Rowdy whatever?
Oh, is she really? Like, I know she's in the WWE, but I don't know.
I thought that was her gimmick now. I think Piper passed it on to her or something.
There was in WWE. Again, I don't follow WWE too closely, so I can't confirm or deny. But I know that she was in line with Rowdy Piper at one point, and they kind of carried the name over and adopted some of the Roddy Piper shtick.
Yeah.
Well, might as well steal from the best, right? Best
right.
heel of all time.
Yeah.
Easily the best heel of all time.
I told him that one time when I met him that one time before he passed away. I told him that, like, greatest bad guy.
Who was better? There was no one better than Piper. I don't think.
There's people now. There's one person right now that I would say rivals Piper as far as heel. His name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. And if anybody's watching this knows MJF, I think they would probably agree.
Gotcha. I'll have to look them up.
Everyone from the early 80s, I would say, they're all like individually unique. You know what I mean? Like the Iron Sheik. You know, like he was pretty cool. You know, he was like, I mean, all the original guys, everyone like steals from them. You know what I mean? Like there's like, you see like
Iraq, #1,
Yeah,
America, Batui.
exactly. You see like many Russians. You know, Nikolai Volkov was like the first Russian. Then you see like other Russians. Then you see like Slaughter. Then there's like other. Corporal Kirshner, you know, people like steal like gimmicks, you know.
Yeah, So even names, like naming conventions. So there's like Christian Cage, Adam Page, Adam. You know, like there's so many different variations of kind of the same name, and they kind of go with it. Bruiser Brody, Brody Lee, Brody King. You know what I mean? They kind of all just share the same names in different variations.
Oh yeah, but I was gonna say it happens in everything, like comics.
Yeah,
we all steal from the greats, right?
Right.
Movies, TV, you know, we all steal from the greats. So it's like it's a matter of like paying homage or doing your own thing with the legacy. You know,
I like to think it depends upon the creator and the generation they grew up in. And I like to point to the 80s with Star Wars and with Transformers, where if you look at a lot of the villains from those stories, their armor and their helmets resemble Nazis, who were the ultimate villains, and the people who created those things at that time frame, they iconically would regard the Nazis as the villains. So, Megatron's got his bucket helmet. Vader's got the bucket helmet. You know what I mean? It kind of
Commander.
The aesthetic. Yeah. Colonel Clink.
Yeah. And they're all voiced by Frank Welker.
Or Chris Latta.
Every one of them.
Well, the Darth Vader was inspired by Doctor Doom. I mean, like there's a cover of Fantastic Four, I forget which one, but it was like what inspired that dinner scene in Empire Strikes Back. You know, like they stole it from George Lucas stole it from a Fantastic Four issue. And I was like, yeah, if you're going to make the greatest villain of all time, I mean, Doctor Doom is one of the best, so
I can't wait for him to show up in the MCU. They're going to do him justice.
They got to do him right this time. They got to do him right. But anyways, we got a great show tonight. Two of my favorite guests that we've had on before. Tom from Committed Comics, and then Bill Maus, who hasn't been on the show in probably about a year or more at least. Like the last time he was on, I think was with Don Chin. Was that might have been 2 years ago? I can't remember.
If you were a reader of Zen the Intergalactic Ninja back in the day, you probably recognize Bill.
Oh, I mean, Bill works on tons of stuff. I saw there's a new Image comic that I love called Local Man. By Tim Seeley, and I work in the shop now part time, and then I'm going through the covers, and I was like, there was a variant by Bill Maus, and I was like, what? I was like, this is awesome. But it was drawn in like his Nira X kind of style. So that's another thing we're going to be talking about tonight is the Nira X Kickstarter, and also I want to get into this character has such a long history. Is one of the, when you talk about bad girl comics, this one is probably right up there with like Lady Death and Danger Girl, all the ones that were huge back in the day.
Tank Girl.
And all those. Yeah, exactly. So I'd love to get into the history of that and the publishing and all that fun stuff. So without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest.
Bring him in.
And let's start with Tom from Committed Comics, Editor-in-Chief. Hey, Tom.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
welcome back, man.
Yeah, welcome back to the show.
Course.
And then let's bring in our fan favorite artist here, Bill Maus, who's actually drawing Nira as we speak.
He's
so
badass.
How's it going, guys?
We'll see if he actually ends up drawing. I've done live streams before. He's like, no, I'm going to draw while we're on stream. And he like does three lines.
The quintessential editor, always waiting for me to draw more things.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I always found hard to, like, I respect artists for it at conventions. Like I feel like that is the hardest time to draw comics. But there's artists that are like, scribbling away the whole weekend, and it's like nuts. Bill, is that something that you do when you're at shows, or?
When I'm at shows, I feel like that's my natural habitat.
Okay.
I feel like if I'm behind the table and I'm working and I'm doing what I am comfortable doing, I feel very comfortable. Yeah, it's like it's totally totally cool. I actually feel out of place at a show if I'm not behind the table. You know,
Really?
I'm the kind of guy who goes to a concert and I wish I was the bass player. I wish I was the guy behind the band, like doing that instead of in the crowd with the cool people actually dancing and stuff.
I know what you mean, because I can't just go. It's funny. I've been going to conventions for so long, and Tom, I bet this is the same with you.
Oh, yeah.
Is I can't just go as a fan anymore. Like I have to either be tabling or I'm there for something. Like I gotta, maybe have a panel guest or something.
I can always, I can still go as a fan. Like I actually just attended Emerald City Comic Con and I didn't set up. But what ends up happening is I end up helping out one of the 52 million people who I know at the show. And next thing you know, I'm behind the table
anyway.
Yeah, behind the table. I'm like, you really want this, 24 by 46 inch print. You do. Or I'll walk by and be like, well, that looks expensive. And sales. But yeah, I mean, it's like Bill's saying, natural habitat is definitely behind the table nowadays. Although, part of the reason why when I just attend a show, I end up helping my friends out at their tables. One is because they need the help, and why not, right? It's fun. And then two, it's actually to prevent me from spending more money. So like when I went to I was in Rhode Island Comic Con, and they're known for having a huge guest list, just like ridiculous guest list out the Washington.
His favorite.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was sitting there. I was with my friend Chris, who works with NewsTap. It's an art studio that they sell prints and stuff like that. And I was like, I should go comic book shopping. I should go look for books. And then part of my brain was like, no, I shouldn't. That's going to be really expensive. I should just go get autographs instead. No, that's going to be really expensive too.
That's going to be really expensive too.
I was like, but the entire Breakfast Club is upstairs. I can get all their autographs. So instead, I was like, let me stay here and help Chris with the table.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Rhode Island, we're all fans, right? So it's like you get sucked in. Yeah,
I enjoy.
It used to be a good show. Sorry, Johnny, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I enjoy jumping over to a friend's table and helping them sell books. Yeah. It's just because number one, it makes me look good and show that I can actually sell, right? So to be able to hop behind the table and sell somebody else's book, gangsta, right? There's that. And then on top of that, you're helping a friend out, like, oh, they gotta go run, hey, I'll watch things for you. Don't worry, go run, take a bathroom break, go do this, go do that. I got you, my man. I got C2E2 coming up for the first time in a while. I'm not tabling as of yet. And I don't even know. I'm thinking, I'm going to be there for like 3 days. I don't know what to do with myself.
Well, that's what you start attending panels and doing what Tom does, maybe jump behind some tables,
Exactly. That's the idea.
I just want to say,
I was going to say about Rhode Island is that it used to be a good show, but then they kind of it's kind of top heavy now with celebrities, and I think that's ruined the ecosystem of that show.
The show, I mean, I exhibited at it many years ago before pandemic and stuff like that, and it was not a great show for me, mostly because of the fact they had stuck me at a 10x10 facing away from Artist Alley, and I couldn't face Artist Alley because that was a premium spot, and and I was just like, I don't understand this. Like, your layout makes no sense.
They prioritize the wrong things over there, I think, personally, and that's just opinion.
I mean, like I said, it's still a fun show to attend. I know people who do fan art who do exceptionally well there. I just can't bring original content there and do well while traveling across the country. If I was still living in New York, maybe it might be a different story entirely. Just load everything in the car and drive up.
Oh, you can take more chances if you can just carry it all yourself.
Yeah, right.
I can't put that stuff in my suitcase. It's too much.
The one thing that happened to me at Rhode Island Comic, and this like killed the show for me forever, and I probably won't do it, is they had an Artist Alley section, and we were in there. We had a great spot, right in the middle of the alley, big high traffic area. Nice. But they had Rob Liefeld as a guest, and he was supposed to be in like
right there. Rob Liefeld as a guest ruins the show.
Well, here's how he even ruined it more, though. So they had him in like a professional area where he was supposed to be with other high-end artists, but he didn't want to do that. Like he told the show, I want to be in Artist Alley with the artists, which I guess, whatever. So they end up putting him at the end of my aisle. And because they weren't set up to have like a long line there,
line
His
management.
line kept going down the aisle and blocking all us artists.
Yep.
And it was
Right.
just
So
it
he's
was
actually
misery.
hurting. Yeah, he's actually hurting you guys by being in that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I flagged down one of the convention guys that was like the heads up, and I was like, what is going on? Like, and they're like, well, he wanted to be in Artist Alley, and I was like, is this the Rob Liefeld Comic-Con, or is this the Rhode Island Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Tell him where he needs to go. I was so mad,
I mean,
like it's just
this past year when I
tell
was
him
there,
where he needs to go.
this past year when I was there, Eastman was there
You
with
don't
a
mince
whole bunch of
words.
his crew, a whole bunch of the Kevin Eastman studio people and stuff like that. And again, Kevin's smart. He was upstairs in a different room entirely, and people who had VIPs could go right up to that area, and and he knows exactly what he's doing, and he can service his fans better that way too.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
His
I don't
fans
know
are
why
much
Rob
happier
didn't
for.
see that,
Yeah.
It made no sense, so.
Yeah.
But anyways, we could talk about con horror stories all day long.
You really could.
But I want to hear about, because I know you guys got a new Kickstarter for Nira X, and so I honestly I'm not very familiar with this character. Like, I know it's been around, or she's been around for a long time.
Yes.
Like
late
could we,
92.
like
and she's evolved and changed over the years too, depending on what publisher was publishing her at the time, and what was kind of going on in my life at the time. So yeah, ask away.
So Bill, did you create Nira, or were you part of the creative?
Yeah, I actually created her for this is the way kind of the boilerplate of it is. Well, Don Chin and I co-founded Parody Press when we started 30 some odd years ago. Back in remember the Civil War? That's when we started. It's like, and so between cannonballs, we came up with Parody Press. And
what year was that? What year was Parody Press?
Like 1860. When was the Civil War? It was 19. It was 92, 91, 92, somewhere in that. And we had been doing parodies for a bit, but we also wanted to do regular, straightforward comic book adventure stories also. But we didn't want to do it under the same imprint, because I don't want people to confuse our, fun action stories with a parody that's more like, So we've co-founded Entity Comics, and the very first issue of anything that we published as Entity Comics was Zen Intergalactic Ninja #0. We had just met Steve Stern. They just finished their run on Archie Comics. And of course, they had a bunch of other things under their belt. They had some toys, they had some video games. Super excited to be the next torch holder, the torch bearer, as it were. And they allowed me to introduce a lot of my own characters into the books. So that's where Nira X made her first appearance, was in that very first issue of Zen. I needed a mercenary to help him in this particular story. And there was lots of things that they let me do with Zen that was kind of, it's still kind of unheard of for him to let people write Zen for him. And I kind of changed his proportions, so he is a little bit more like Image Comics proportions as opposed to Captain Planet little kid proportions. Because the Archie series was really geared for kids. It was really geared for children. Like it was Zen and the Recycled Heroes. It's like very, very kid-centric book. But I wanted to have something that an Image Comics fan would like a 13 and up. 13 to 100 would like to pick up. And I like seeing Zen in more of like Spider-Man-ish kind of proportions. A little
it's
bulkier,
a very unique looking character, which is really cool.
Yeah, he's really, really fun to work with, and it was thanks to Zen that I have like a handful of characters that I still own and I can still publish and I still work with, and I've been working with Steve Stern like nonstop over the last 30 years. Also, so, Zen is now over at First Comics, and Steve also does. He also is he runs a company called Storyboard, and we turn people's scripts and movie pitches into completed graphic novels that are like 100-page books, 150-page books, something to the tune of that. So yeah, it's like myself, even my daughter, Cat
Yeah.
Mouse. She ends up coloring a lot of those graphic novels. She's been very, but she's actually been in the industry now for, I don't want to date myself, but she's been in the industry now professionally for like 11 years now, something like that.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, she's 26 now. So I'm an old man. I'm an old. I'll face the camera at me so you can see the long white Gandalf beard.
Well, when I think of Lobo, I think of Simon Beasley, even though Simon Beasley didn't necessarily create Lobo.
I agree with you. I
When
agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah. But like when I see Zen in my head, I see your art, Bill. I can only see your art on Zen.
That's awesome. That keep on telling that to the publisher. Keep on telling that.
It's just one of those things where it's like, this person defined the character. This artist defined the character. And I feel like you do that for Zen a little bit.
Right.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, every character
that actually means, that means the world to me, dude. For real. Yeah. That's
Right
I got a lot of mileage out of Zen. That was like the 90s were kind of magic. And
They
a lot
were.
we had like 30 different distributors. I mean, even if comic shops only bought a couple issues each, it was still like really good sales across the board. And it was a different time, man. It was a different time.
Well, and the amount of books you guys were moving, like when Don was on the show last, he was telling me, was it like the X-Files book? You guys sold like 100,000 copies or something like that?
Yeah, well, the last time we talked about it, I knew it was 80,000, but it was a little bit over 100, something along those lines.
That is,
and
nowadays that's
that was
number
my-
one book.
People were paying me to get better, so it's like I think people. I don't necessarily have fans. I have friends that actually support my bad habits.
Okay.
By bad habits, I mean drawing all day. That's drawing and freaking drinking Coke and eating pizza.
Sounds like heaven.
But X-Files, that's where I met Don. I met Don when I worked on X-Files, when I penciled X-Files. He just happened to be the writer on that book. And then he had the idea of starting his own parody company, and that's when we co-founded Parody Press.
Oh wow, okay, so that book was the one that kind of brought you guys together.
It brought us together. Yeah, I would have never met him if it wasn't for that. So
No kidding.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy how things connect. I met Tom. I met Tom over a bag of Cheetos.
Right.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Cheetos are magical like that.
Well,
Was it the flaming hot ones or
no,
jalapeno?
just the regular ones. But at the same time, I was whining and complaining about not being able to put out some more Nira books.
I don't think I like Cheetos actually.
Tom tells the story better than I do.
Yeah. We're at San Diego Comic-Con in Artist Alley because they had Comic-Con International has screwed up my Committee Comics WonderCon previously. So they're like, oh, well, you technically, since you're a publisher, we'll still shoehorn you into Artist Alley. And I'm like, great, okay. And so they stuck me next to Bill. And
as
so,
destiny would have it.
Yeah. And Bill's like, hi, I'm Bill Maus. I'm like, yes, indeed, I know who you are.
It's all part of my evil plan.
Right.
I had books. Yeah, and so Bill's sitting there and he's talking about how, it's like, oh, it's almost Nira's 25th anniversary, coming up. And, I'd really like to do something and print something again. And, and I'm like, yeah, if only you knew an independent publisher who specialized in creator-owned projects who's sitting 6 inches away from you. Yeah.
All right. So once I got the Cheeto dust off my fingers from the bag, I started talking to Tom about possibly publishing some things with him.
Yeah. So,
There's an orange dusted handshake deal that went
That's
down.
it. That's it. Yeah. Our handshake sounded like this.
Yeah.
Cloud of orange
A
smoke.
cloud of orange dust.
It's like that slow motion scene in a karate movie or I just picture the Schwarzenegger
Predator.
Actually, you know what would have been? Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Is like me and Tom shaking hands like this, and it's just like, Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Except it's 2 out of shape men with Cheeto dust on our hands.
Yeah, right.
Just like Predator.
These 2 forearms that obviously have never worked out.
Yeah, right.
Dylan, when's the last time you did a push-up, Dylan?
See, I love what Bill's doing here with the artwork. I love watching,
thanks.
Yeah, but I'm also an artist myself, but I could never draw in front of people. I mean, I can, but not that I have anxiety, but I just don't like showing people my technique, how I do things, and I would never want to give secrets away or whatever.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you the secret of how I got over, because I felt the same way. It's but I got over that fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fear or a mindset that makes it a little difficult to work and kind of like show people how the sausage is made or whatever,
Yeah.
And that's get yourself a job at a theme park drawing caricatures.
Mm-hmm. I spent hours watching. There's a guy at are you guys local to Massachusetts or New Hampshire or?
No, I'm actually in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
And,
so there's a guy at a beach up
Tom's
here.
far.
There's a white trashy beach around here called Hampton Beach. I call it the Hamptons. I call it the Hamptons. There's a guy that I, for the past 20 something years of my life. There's a guy in the corner, and he's been drawing caricatures, for years, since 30 something years. And every year I go there and I watch him for just to see the first initial strokes. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm serious. Caricature. Well, cartooning is kind of like the base DNA of what I do anyway. Comic book art is my first love, but my stuff started by looking more like a Garfield comic strip or like trying to look like Robotech, very anime, very manga looking, very cartoony. Cool. So when I moved, I lived in San Diego for about 10 or 12 years. Mm-hmm. And when I moved there, I was just a kid out of college. By college, I mean my community college that I had my little piddly thing with. But my dad was a Navy guy. So I followed my family out to San Diego. He got transferred out there. So I was like, oh, San Diego, that's where people go to be artists and movie stars and, musicians and stuff. That's the vibe that's out there. Mm-hmm. So I figured every job I would get would just be something art related. So one of those jobs happened to be the caricature gig at San Diego Zoo and at San Diego SeaWorld. And the thing with that is, first of all, I sucked for like 6 months straight. It was the worst experience because you're on the spot, you're drawing the person. You want to make it so that you're having fun with the person, not making fun of the person.
It's a fine line.
It's a very fine line, and you really have to feel out their personality really fast, very quickly. Get the drawing fast because people get bored quickly. Mm-hmm. It's not like drawing comic book pages where I can actually take my time, and people tend to enjoy watching the little pieces of detail come together. Mm-hmm. You have to do it fast. Right. And then you have to show it to them, and then you have to take their money right off the bat. It's so if they're pissed off or unhappy, it's right away. There were so many times I wanted to quit, but I stuck with it. I got better at it, and that's what got me over my mindset of having people looking over my shoulder and actually watching. Because in my mind, I'm thinking they're bored out of their minds and they don't like it. But then I'm just like, but they're still standing there and they're still silent because they're paying attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all a really big mindset of how to think of it. But I mean, I did literally suck for a long time. So
well, that's how you get better.
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say, Harry?
No, right. Well, practice makes perfect. That's how you get better by doing it. And
you have to put in. It's literally pilot hours, right? It's, if you don't put in the time, it's repetition. It's getting those certain tricks down, and then adding to that, and adding to that, and adding to that, and then failing multiple times. Until you get something cool.
It's really the first initial lines when you draw like the bone structure or the shape of the head and the like a nose or something, and then you got it. You got it. The frame is done.
And the thing is, even at my best, I'm not a good portrait artist. So even my caricatures, they don't look exactly like the person. I worked with a lot of great artists at that theme park. One gentleman, I'll name drop a little bit just because he's a good friend of mine. His name is Steve Silver, and you look him up. He went on after that job to design Kim Possible. He worked for DreamWorks. He's a real go-getter. Fantastic artist. But no matter how far he would stretch the drawing or how wild or how out of proportion the drawing would be, it looked exactly like the person. I mean, there's no way the person could turn around and say it doesn't look like me. It looked just, but I didn't really have that. It's like I would latch on to a certain characteristic, and then I would make the rest of the drawing fun enough that they would accept it. It's like, oh, you made me look so this or so cute or so this or that. Yeah.
So if someone were to mug you right now, Bill, and you were like knocked out for a while, and you came to, could you draw the person that, if the police came, you can draw the person that hit you over the head
through
yourself?
the lens of a '90s comic book. Yes.
Okay, well, that's good enough. I mean, most people
Tom, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, latching on to one element of the person in a caricature. I mean, that's what a caricature is, right? You find that one thing
That
you
makes
can
them-
either exaggerate or minimize that
Right.
one thing.
Yeah.
And that's how they'll look at it, and they'll see that one thing that they know about themselves as well.
Yeah,
And
like,
then they make it
if somebody had a bowl haircut, I was set for life. I was good to go. If somebody had like a prominent nose, or like especially like a cool mustache or like a goatee or something like that, I can grab onto that.
And like Bill was saying, like, yeah, you gotta get an idea of what the person's personality is. Because I did a recent caricature of this lady with like a long head and a big giant nose. So I'm like, should I go with the long head or the nose? So I gave her like a pretty okay, shaped head. Like normal. But the nose I went to town on, and she didn't quite like it. So
I would have gone the other way, Harry. I would have lost your head, minimized the nose.
I guess, yeah. In retrospect, yes.
Well, that's where reading people really fast comes in. I mean, it's like there was one time I drew this guy one time, and he was just this big dude. He was like a Harley Davidson kind of guy and whatever. And I just drew him like so. And then like his shoulders went off the edge of the page, and then I had him riding like a tiny little motorcycle, and and he actually kind of like played the joke back on me because he looked at it and he was like real serious. And I was like, "This is it. This is today. I'm gonna get my ass kicked at SeaWorld. This is gonna be awesome." That's what I thought was gonna happen. And then he's like, like I got you, he's one of those things where he was just playing around. But I was just like, damn, I thought I was gonna die.
And rode away.
One last story. If you watched that Impractical Jokers episode.
Oh yeah,
they're in the mall or something, and they're doing caricatures, and they already had pre-drawn drawings of people. You know what I mean? And then the people would come and sit down in the chair, and so there's like a couple, like a young couple, and then they're Caucasian, and then like here's your drawing, and it's like a whole like a black family,
really just turn the whole tables on him. Yeah.
Completely, that's the funniest.
Man.
I pictured Bill just snatching the money out of the people's hand and just screaming, "No refund!
No refund! No refund! No refund! You get out."
Some people can't draw appropriate chest proportions and feet, and they're still very popular. So
I've heard of those guys.
Yeah, someone might not have been mentioned earlier in the show.
No, not at all.
nah, I didn't say anything. I'm already blocked.
I had
Really? That's hysterical.
I don't know how Johnny got blocked. He's like the
only on
nicest
Instagram
guy in comics. What's
I
that?
had
Only
a-
on Instagram.
Yeah.
I had
Man.
I had a figure drawing class one time in college, and the first part of the class was like or the semester was like drawing inanimate objects like a cup or a plate or like a ball or a bowl of fruit, whatever, your classic things to draw.
Got you.
So the final exam was this guy came in, disrobed, sat in a stool in the middle of the room. We all sat in a circle around him. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. So I drew his like face, perfectly, whatever. I drew his like proportion, like the arms and legs and whatever. And my professor, walked around the room, like just looking over everyone's work. Oh, good job on that. I like that. Like, whatever. Good, like, that needs more work. And she comes to me, he's like, Harry, great job on the face. Looks like him, everything's in proportion, but you're missing some detail in that area right there. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just don't want to look at it to draw it. You know what I mean? Like, She's like, well, Harry, when I come back around again, I want to see some progress in that area. I'm like, all right, whatever. Because she comes back around, and I had him with his like legs crossed. It's like, I'm like, I swear to God, for a split second, he crossed his legs. That's the part I captured. She gave me an A- on that.
That reminds me of like Horrible Bosses when Charlie Day's boss is just continually sexually harassing him.
Yeah, but that's not realistic because it was Jennifer Aniston. And she could.
I know, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
Before we go any further, we got some great comments here.
Oh yeah, let's go to the comments. I think we skipped the comments today.
Where is the chat?
Yeah,
Where's
right.
the
Where's chat? Tony James joining us tonight.
What
Good
up,
evening,
Tony?
folks. What's up, Tony? Check out Star Noir on Indiegogo, Tony's pet project. Let me see. We got some Kevin Green. Thanks for joining the show, Kevin. I hope you were sketching Cheetah as you didn't have to color it. What with all the Cheetos dust in the air, referring back to when you guys met. Ken Zeiser in the chat.
Ken, what's up, man?
Ken? Thanks for joining us. Tony says Bill has a deep voice. I'd love to hear his dark side impression. Bill, you got a dark side impression in you?
Yeah, what would Darkseid say? I'm right in the middle of drawing his
something
armpit.
about the
You would
anti-life
pontificate about the
equation.
the anti-life equation.
And I request Dr. Claw after.
The anti-life equation.
Oh,
That's not bad.
That's good.
I
good.
can't even afford good health insurance.
I would
That's
cast
awesome.
Bill as a voice.
And Dr.
That's
Claw,
fantastic.
I remember Dr. Claw from back in. No, I can't even find it. I can't find Dr. Claw. I'm like, Gadget.
Perfect. That's
There you go.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty much all he said anyway. So you're good.
I thought he was here actually.
Kevin also
I do my
says,
voices in 3D. Thank you very much. Please please keep your waitress on the way out.
Kevin Green says, I like how inappropriate Bill draws the chest
Well,
proportions.
who's to say?
I wouldn't say they're that
I mean,
inappropriate.
if you go out west, they're plenty like that.
Yeah. Do you mean like Oxford, Mass?
Yeah.
How far west do you have to go?
A little bit further out west.
Worcester, Massachusetts?
Actually, in some places.
Centerfolds 2000 or just Centerfolds? Depends on how far west you have to go.
I've heard stories.
Ken Zeiser says, I'll get you, Gadget.
For sure.
Did anyone else think this is like such a side thing with Inspector Gadget? I always thought his face was the MAD logo. Did you guys ever get that as well?
Oh, you mean Alfred E. Newman or?
No, like on
Gadget's actual face?
No, Dr. Claw's face.
Oh,
They
Dr.
never
Claw's
actually
face.
I always thought it was
yeah.
the MAD logo.
Didn't they
they always
reveal-
had the MAD logo on everything, like whenever they had like a bomb or something.
Right.
It was like that
Yeah.
face, and I always thought like, oh, that's gonna be Dr. Claw's face.
That's got to be his face if it's on all the logos and everything. Like he likes to brand. He likes to brand things.
Yeah.
I thought on the very end of the maybe last episodes they showed his face real quick or something. Or
No,
they
Not
never
in the
did.
show, but in the cartoon. I'm sorry, the
the movie.
toy that they made, they produced his whole
a face, right? Yep.
Yeah, the whole body. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a chair with an arm and a cat.
Yeah.
I know,
He
right?
is. He's
The most in-action figure ever.
Yeah, he's a hand and a cat.
I would have preferred that though. After I saw what the action figure looked
Yeah.
like, it was just pretty
Yeah,
bad.
I wasn't happy with the action. I don't consider the action figure
Was that-
canon.
Was
Me
that
either.
actually, was that the actual? Did he actually produce the figure, or was it one of those canceled lines that never?
I
'cause-
think they did, but I don't remember if it was for. I never found out about it till years later. So
did.
I don't know how.
See, that's the
it
same
was
thing
put
here.
out-
I didn't
it
find
was
out
put
about
out
it till
back in
years
the day.
later. Yeah.
So it
yeah.
actually physically exists. It wasn't one of those canceled.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it exists. It exists
Forced
somewhere.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Oh, you have it?
He's got a picture
I
of
have it up. Yep.
on his wish list.
Mom, can we
Add
go
it to
home
the
and get
Johnny
Dr. Claw?
collection. Oh yeah, here it is. It's pretty bad.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's not Dr. Claw. There's no way that's Dr. Claw.
That's
That
not my
looks-
Dr. Claw.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
That looks like what they would have used for the movie. The really
Yes.
bad live
Yeah,
action
like-
movie. That's what
He
it
looks
looks
like Magneto or something.
Yeah, it's like Jimmy from Accounting freaking designed that one.
Yeah,
That's
Jimmy
not.
from accounting.
That's not.
Yeah,
that's
just
actually
bad.
Jimmy from Accounting,
it's
the action
it's
figure.
bad.
Jimmy from accounting.
Yeah, scared of him.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. He's a hand and a cat. That's all he is. It's,
I'm gonna
Yeah,
make a
right.
bumper sticker. I'm gonna make a bumper sticker that just
Google
says, "It's not my Dr. Claw."
yeah.
It's not my Dr. Claw.
Oh, this is a good theory. Ken saying that he thinks Charlie from Charlie's Angels and Dr. Claw are the same person.
Now that I could go with.
I could go with that too. I like
I could
that.
go
There's like a
with
little
that.
Jekyll and Hyde. The
Yeah.
supervillain is the,
Yeah,
is the
he's got a
James
voice.
Bond. Like,
He's got a voice modulator.
Yeah,
You know,
but
he
you
knows.
also realize it's 10 years later, so he's all bitter because the girls
Yeah.
never accepted him. So then he
There
decided.
you go.
That's why
that would be a good spin. The rich guy's so bored that
Yeah.
he starts a spy agency to combat his own company's wrongdoings.
Then he couldn't get the girl, so he started petting the cat.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna call up Don Chin, and we're gonna have to do this
Asian
parody.
Oh my God.
It's
2025 parody.
Hey
That
Don,
would
if you're
be
watching,
great.
if you're watching,
Yeah.
just write
Yeah,
it down
Don,
in your
it's like-
notebook for later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be,
that
it would be
awesome.
Charlie from Charlie's Angels, and then at the end it would be him like wrapping up that job for the day, and then he's going to the next job, and you don't see what's happening, and he's walking into a building, and then he sits down in the chair, and you're like, "What's he doing?" And there's like the wall of like TVs in the background, and all of a sudden he puts on the glove, and he picks up the cat, and he turns around into the chair.
And then you see it. Yeah, it's like,
Better than
dude.
that, he just sits down in the chair, like so. He hangs up the phone from Charlie, right? The Angels,
Yeah.
and then he literally just swivels, and you just see his other hand. So he's not even like he doesn't even leave the office. It's the same office. Just
that
one
would be
side and one
great.
side.
Well,
it.
even better, Bill, if you could take every villain that never shows his face and kind of working it as one person.
Oh, dude.
Like you'd have to figure out all of the different ones.
We could push this concept. We could push it. I'm telling you.
I like it.
How about
I
you
like
get
it
the
a lot.
book done first,
Can
and
I
then
make
we'll
a-
worry about the next ridiculous project they're going to work on.
Yeah. Kevin says the best you ever see of Dr. Claus is Silhouette, the Weather Machine episode. I'll have to look
He
that one
Googled
up.
that. You don't know that. He Googled that.
Probably. It's probably in the wiki.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so enough of Dr. Claw. Let's get back to the origins of Nira X, which is much more important character in my
Yes.
eyes.
Yeah.
So Bill, so tell us so you got it in Zen, and then where
Right.
did it go from there?
Well, she was a prominent character in actually quite a few issues of Zen until we got the idea. It's like, well, we're really getting a good response for this character. I really just because here's the thing with when I was writing, I got like story breakdowns from Steve, and then Steve allowed me to write those issues for the first series, and then the series following that, I was able to just write those all completely on my own. So I noticed that some of the elements, we basically had all the elements that I would love to have in a science fiction-y kind of superhero book. We had our alien, we've got our spaceships, we got our monsters, we got our villains. Where's the hot chick? You can't have a space, fantasy without like, where's the chick at? So, and I didn't necessarily want to just have a damsel in distress kind of situation. No political message behind it. It's just what I wanted to feel like drawing. Sorry, guys. It's like one of those.
Yeah, right.
So that's when I basically came up with Nira X. She was a mercenary for hire, and she was actually hired to help Zen out of the situation. Not that Zen's doing nothing and she's the one doing everything. It wasn't a Mary Sue kind of story. It's them basically as equals, going through this really crap job trying to get their butts out of there alive, kind of situation. And then I just kept on adding a little bit more to the lore, a little bit more to her story as we went along. And then she just spun out into her own series. So we did a couple of 3-issue miniseries with her. And then other artists started taking over for Zen because I was starting to get spread a little bit too thin to work on both at the same time, and took it from there. We kept on growing her and kept on adding more little. And because of the time travel, it's like you can add a little mystery to it, and then we can have other characters pop up that are like, where did they come from? That sort of like that play back and forth. So you can have a little bit of mystery, have a little bit of like you're trying to figure something out, but it's not. She's very self-aware. It's the Nira book is a very self-aware book. It's 90s escapism. You're there to just escape for a minute, have some science fiction, some action, some fun, and it doesn't go too far past that. You know what I mean? It's meant to be just a fun book.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I miss that. Like, I think like nowadays comics are almost way too serious. Like, I miss fun books. Like, you don't.
Yeah,
get
just a
those
fun
anymore.
event. I just want to see what Nira's going through. It's like I want to see it play out. I want to see the ship explode. I want to see her, beat up some aliens and get through a situation. And there's, she'll make relationships or friendships with different characters, and you see how that plays out. And that's the fun of it. And then when you walk away from it, you're like, you can go back to it and reread it, and it's like maybe you'll pick something else out of it or something like that. But it's just all about having fun. and I think on some subconscious level, Nira knows she's in a freaking comic book.
I like that. So like
She
it's
doesn't-
almost like
she-
the first Deadpool in a lot of ways.
Well, I don't think she ever really breaks the fourth wall. She doesn't
Oh,
really
she
look-
doesn't. Okay.
right. Not, at least not purposely, but I think
Yeah.
subconsciously, like you can kind of tell because she talks to herself a lot. I have her narrate to herself like she's Batman, for crying out loud. And
Gotcha.
it's like, and I think in a couple of panels of miscellaneous books here and there, she actually mentions to herself that she's talking to herself. It's out loud. She's like, all right.
That's
so
great.
so she's she's
Everyone
a fun
has a
character.
monologue. Hers
Mhm.
is just not so inner. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that though. Like, and
Yeah.
that's another thing that you don't see a lot in comics anymore. Like the thought balloons or the, you know what I mean? It's like it's always done in captions now or whatever. You know.
Right. I
Or the
wonder-
quip. Like the Spider-Man's quips, you know what I mean? Like he would just quip to
Exactly.
himself a little bit, you know?
I actually think of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, kind of like with the jokes, with the little side jokes, especially when she's fighting a villain. I sort of have that in the back of my mind when I'm writing her. Is that
Nice.
that little bit of Peter Parker being a smartass?
I love it.
John Romita.
It's one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
things where, like if you're in a situation that's just so deadly serious that it's just way over your head. Sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like you may as well have a sense of humor. Yeah, you might blow a hole through my head any second now. All right, I'm gonna get one last joke in before. There's nothing, So you just do your best and you get through. And she's a really fun character in that regard. So
It goes like hand in hand, like the jokes go hand in hand with like an action type comic, I think, like
like I said, I'm 9. I think I bleed 90s. I try to update myself, but it doesn't happen.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
You go watch a Schwarzenegger movie and he's just like eyes to see you. It's like
Yeah,
he had to split.
best.
It's
Yeah.
like
Not that
I
this
love
makes
that.
any this relates to leak. Yesterday being St. Patrick's Day, I was watching Leprechaun 2.
Oh, there you go. You're right. You're right.
It
All
was-
right.
Great.
And it was very, I know it's a horror movie, but he kept making jokes and he was like a funny guy. I couldn't
Well,
really.
yeah,
just-
that was
I
during
couldn't really
the
just,
era
like-
of not real horror. That was
Right.
slapstick horror.
everyone was
Yeah.
Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger,
Right.
that's
Freddy
the
Krueger
guy.
with a sense of
Right.
humor, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to create characters with personalities because they realize that they can market that.
Mhm.
That was one of the groundbreaking things that New Line did. was
Because
they-
some of the things is too, like when I'm writing her, I think of those action movies, back in the day. And usually those one-liners are kind of what me and my friends were joking that wouldn't it be funny if he said some crap like this right now? And he goes ahead and does it. It means like, oh, dude, you're on the same page with us. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's like-
right.
it's like-
Schwarzenegger had so many one-liners in Commando. You could like so many in that movie alone.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
stick around, Bennett, or whatever. All these like
Yeah.
the tape through the chest or whatever.
leave
or-
my friend alone. He's dead tired.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
What happened to Sully? I let him go.
Let him
Like,
go.
Yeah, so
Terrible.
many like.
I had to let
Whoever
him go.
wrote Commando was did not understand subtlety in the slightest
Oh,
bit.
I love
But
it.
it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
The
Yeah.
one-liners make
See?
it though. Like
Yeah.
they're great, So good. There's some great comments still coming in here too. Someone adding another faceless villain to the pile. The neighbor from Home Improvement.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He
dude,
wasn't a
yeah.
villain though.
He was
He's
like
not a
we
villain.
can make
Wise.
him. We can make him a villain though.
well, he could be like the bystander. Like the dude's got to be multiple personality or something,
Well,
Could be
there's like also tiny.
maybe
from,
he lives next door to whatever hero he's tormenting, and he's the the neighbor.
Dude,
The
like-
concept reminds me of like you see it at conventions when somebody's got like all the Jokers and they're playing cards together at a table.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Heath
right.
Ledger, Jack Nicholson, like they're all together.
There's like a
Oh.
tiny two from Get Smart.
Yeah, right.
The tall guy. You never see his head.
Kevin.
Kevin
I
Green
did
said
Google
he did
it.
Google
I
the
know he did. Like I said, I know Kevin. He don't know that kind of. He don't know that. He don't know that. So-
Well, maybe he was just a big Inspector Gadget fan. We didn't know.
Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those darn Googles.
Yeah. Ben Soto's here with us tonight. What's up, Ben? Thanks for joining us. Ken says it's so 90s. All the jokes in the book are about AOL and Bill Clinton.
No,
Is that
no,
true?
not that bad. Not that bad.
And then wife says Leprechaun Jennifer Aniston is way more entertaining than
Yeah.
she ever was on Friends.
Yeah, it took We're the Millers for her to be that entertaining again.
Yeah.
Brandon
dear Lord.
Nauman is in the house with us. What's up, Brandon? Thanks for
Hey,
joining.
Brandon.
And Kevin said he lied. I lied.
Oh,
Yes,
was that also
Kevin, how could you?
Yeah.
that
What
was
were
also
you gonna
a
say,
quote-
Harry?
That was also a quote in Commando. Is he quoting Commando? Because when he
Yes.
was like, "Oh, you let Sully go."
Oh
right?
yeah, that is a.
He goes, "Remember when
Schwarzenegger.
I said I'd kill you last?
Exactly,
I lied."
Right.
It's one of my favorite one-liners was from James Bond. What was it? It's a Roger Moore one. The one was it? You only live. Live and let die. Live and let die. When he sticks something in the villain's mouth, so he blows up like a balloon and it explodes.
Yeah.
And his one-liner is, he always had a high inflated opinion of himself.
Or what about this greatest one ever with like Schwarzenegger and like I think it was like wait the one when there's like repets, you have to clone yourself, whatever.
Yeah, I think that was
Total Recall, wasn't it?
Okay, totally. So the bad guy is like, I want you to clone yourself. Why? It's like, so you can fuck yourself. What go fuck yourself? Well, it's the greatest like. Wow, that was like brilliant. Sorry.
Yeah, those action lines were the best. I love them. He said the best one-liner for Schwarzenegger are from The Running Man. Yeah, I gotta agree. I like the Running Man one-liner.
Which is hysterical.
Running Man's got a lot of good ones.
The former governor is in that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's true.
And a game show host. That was legitimate. Richard Dawson was legitimately a game show host. What an inspired casting that was.
Yeah,
he was great in that
They
too.
really dug deep on that one. That was,
Yeah, that was like very meta on that one.
When he's like, "Drop dead, you bastard! I don't do requests." So good. But anyways, now that we got that tangent aside, back to Nira.
I know. I digress.
So from that point on, how many did you guys spin her off into her own series at that point yet?
Yeah,
Bill,
we had a couple of different miniseries that were just for her, and we had a couple of crossovers. We did a crossover with Immortel. Immortel had a character named Cinder, and she was kind of like a fire character, and we actually had an Adam Hughes cover for that one.
Oh, cool.
Which was like talk about a bucket list item to have a Adam Hughes cover on.
He wasn't quite. Was he famous at that point for his art yet? Or
Yeah. This was past his Justice League stuff, and he was already like
So he was a get, but he wasn't the legend that he is now at this point.
Right.
And everybody at that time, everyone was still working on their legendness, right? Like, so Frank Miller in the 90s was still working on his stuff, and
he was still doing like some interior work and stuff like that with different books. So it wasn't at ultimate legend status yet, but definitely a good, like, for me, he was a legend. He was one of those artists that I always looked up to. So.
And saying, don't forget Helena. That was a good crossover.
Yeah, Helena was a fun crossover.
That was a crossover, all right. Anyway.
I think we had a John Cleary cover, because what we would do with some of these with the crossover, it was almost like a trade. It was like a barter system kind of situation that was happening. So whoever we're doing a crossover with, essentially they get to write and draw their own story with their own covers, and then we also get to write our own story with our own covers. So we're essentially having fun with each other's characters with two different books, two different products.
Oh, and was it a little more loosey-goosey back then between the independents? Like, was everything like kind of done on a handshake kind of thing?
A little bit yes, and a little bit no.
Okay.
I think there was a lot more. I think things are a lot more handshake right now than ever it ever was back then.
Okay.
But back then there were still contracts. There were still like little things of, it's like, okay, like, you can trust me. I signed a paper, that sort of thing. But the rules that we made for each other were very, very slack, very friendly handshake material. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't like if there was any rules for me to stay between, as far as like how to treat the character or like their approval of the story or anything like that, it was very generous. You put it that way, because I didn't get the sense that it's like, okay, I wrote something that was basically in character. I didn't veer too far away from the character, and I wouldn't want to disrespect their character. I'm having fun doing the crossover, right? So and I want to be able to do these sorts of things again. So I never had a concern like something wouldn't be approved or something would be, like I'd have to do it again or have them rewrite it for me or something like that. Everything was I was very, very confident that what we were doing was going to be fine.
Okay, that's cool. And then, so once Nira X had her own title, how long did that go for? Or did you guys just do series of mini-series?
Well, there was a series of mini-series, and then Don at some point, and I don't remember what year it was now. Everything's kind of a blur when it starts getting towards the end of the 90s. He decided to leave publishing for a bit, so I moved Nira over to Avatar Press, and we actually published over at Avatar for a while, up until probably like 2000-ish. And we did a lot of books at Avatar, and that's when the first more adult orientated or the more adult entertainment kind of Nira books were coming out. Everything with Entity Comics was always very general audience, which was perfect for her.
Okay.
And then everything that we did for Avatar was almost exclusively adult stories, or basically the same stories I was writing before, except now she has nude scenes.
Right. I mean, Avatar, that was what they made their bread and butter on. I was a retailer at the time that Avatar started.
Right,
and,
exactly.
Every other book they released had a nude cover. And the funny thing is that Avatar at that time, people were buying, very similar to now, people were buying books solely for the covers. Because people would buy the books for the covers, and then you'd open up the interior on the early Avatar books, and with the exception of Nira's at that time, there was almost no interior artwork. It was real basic line art because they were just pumping the stuff out.
There was a lot of books, and we had variant covers, and we had special covers like leather covers and different things. Yeah, they did a lot of a couple different kinds of gimmick covers and stuff. And at the time, I thought it was great, because it's just I was happy to have work. I was happy that I can write the stories the way that I wanted to.
And wasn't that was around the first time too, like late 90s, where things were starting to go bad? Because isn't that when Marvel went into bankruptcy? And
distributors were starting to go exclusive with the bigger companies. And so, like I said, in the early 90s, we had like 30 some odd distributors. I mean, we were selling books hand over fist without really trying too hard. And they knew our product, which was good. And then even if they didn't, they would take a chance and maybe buy 3 copies, 5 copies. But you start spreading that out over a lot of different distributors, and that really adds up, along with the ones that are actually buying like a normal amount, like a stack, So when they started going exclusive and we started losing distributors, and then we only had 2 distributors, and then finally only 1 distributor, that's when, it's like the whole industry started. And then we lost, I think the estimate was like 2,000, maybe 2,500 comic shops nationwide.
Yeah, it was actually more than that. It was, I want to say it was like 97 is when we lost almost like 3,000 stores across the nation.
Right.
Wow.
They just couldn't keep up. And because here's the thing, when all those stores, if they're using a different catalog to order from, right? One of the, and I'm sure you guys are probably know this. Maybe this might just be for people, some people that are listening that maybe they don't know some of the comic shop stuff that goes on. But if they're ordering from a single catalog that they're familiar with, it's best to order all your stuff from that catalog, because you get discounts for ordering bulk or ordering this or ordering that, or you get specials or a special cover.
Right.
Now you're splitting up your order between the catalog you want, and I can only get DC through this. I can only get Marvel through this.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now too.
Well, and that's the funny thing. So it's come completely full circle. So when I started as a retailer back in '94, it was it was a much different world to, like Bill's saying. There was like 5 or 6 different major distributors. You had 3 or 4 different distributors for your reorders on books that sold out, and then you could get stuff. And then Marvel ended up acquiring Heroes World Distribution, which had Heroes World retail stores, and then they started their own distributor, so they pulled everything out of everybody else's catalogs. And And then Diamond ended up acquiring Capital City, which was like a Midwest one, and Friendly Franks, which was I think more like in the Denver area.
Yeah, it was watching a game of Monopoly in real time.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, it
then,
really was.
and of course, everything that they do affects everything that you're able to do.
Right.
Then add on top of all of this, globally, things started changing. The price of fuel went up, which means the price of everything went up, because now it costs more money to transport paper. Now it costs more money to, so everything across the board, it went from, I used to complain all the time. It's like, I don't want to have a book that's more than $5 a piece. Are you kidding me? It's like, I don't buy books that are more than $5. And all of a sudden, everything went $10. Everything went $15. Everything went, I couldn't buy a regular magazine on the newsstand at Barnes and Nobles. I go right now to Barnes and Nobles, to the newsstand, and the magazine that I used to pick up, that's like, I don't know, like Photoshop tips and cool little artwork and stuff like that.
$20 a book now.
Yeah, $25, $30 magazine. It's not like you're buying a thick book either. It's the same magazine, but it costs
even
that
now,
much.
I like paying $5 hurts me. Like, you know what I mean? Like in this day and age where books are $5, $4 now.
Oh, yeah, that's
easily. Easily.
$10 is the standard now, apparently, for independent books at shows. Every show that I go to, I walk around, and it blows my mind. And I'm there selling Nira and some other stuff from Committee Comics, and we range from $3 to $12. And the $12 book we have is 127 pages graphic novel, so it's like you're getting a hefty book.
That's pretty nice.
And then we have the Nira X Ground Zero, which reprints all of the, like Bill was saying, the first 3 Entity miniseries that they did for Nira X. We combined all that into a giant book, put new story on it to bookend it, and that's 300 plus pages, and I'm selling that for $30.
Wow, that's a bargain and a half.
This new formula that we're dealing with now, as far as like fans actually go to Kickstarter and Indiegogo now to find new comic books. So I mean, if we always had a campaign that was like selling a $30 thing every single month, like you'd run out. There's no way to do it. But the formula that we have, I think, seems to be working out pretty good, because every Kickstarter is an event now. You get to interact with, you're interacting with the creator, you're interacting with everybody. It's like we're directly interacting with the fans, that's a lot of fun. I'd like that we can do that now. That's amazing.
You're right too. And then it's also like, here's like a limited drop, here, come get our book right now.
Instead of it being I'm the comic book artist and every month I got this book on the shelf. So instead of it being that, it's more like me and Tom are in a band and we're dropping our new album. So this is like, because it's not every single month now either. So it's like, every quarter, whenever we can actually get the next project done, we can get the next Kickstarter up and running. This is our next album. This is our next feature film. It's like, so it makes it more of an event. Tom does a great job of, holy crap, like all the little extras and stretch goals and things so when you get the package, it makes it feel like, oh, freak, this is like Christmas. It's like you got all this extra stuff to go with it too, and branding, and it makes it a lot of fun to open the package because you got all this extra stuff. But at the core of it, what matters is the book, but
right. You get limited stuff too that's only available in this short period of time.
And only for the people that were part of the event, the
actual,
right. We're having a party. Yeah, we're actually partying together and doing this thing together. So it makes it a huge deal, and it makes it more. And they know that they're supporting us directly.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fans that they're just like they like feeling like they're part of the studio, and I like that they like that. Because it makes my studio feel like it's not empty. It's like, dude, I've got like the fans are like here with me. And then they actually care about the stuff that I'm drawing. And when they have feedback on the art, or they have ideas or something like that, sometimes those ideas work themselves into the story too. Because it's like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, they saw this, and it's like, and when they see it, it's like, oh, cool. It's like, this is our excuse to do something fun together, right? So it's like, I have a great time, and it's how I make friends. It's how I've made friends since I was a kid.
I was just going to say, I feel like with Kickstarter, it's almost like when you go to the page, it's baked in to expect that it's going to be a little bit more of a charitable cost price.
Yeah, I think it's that.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like an unspoken rule.
Yeah, right. It's like a hybrid, like donation and purchase. right? So like you make a charitable donation, people have no problem, paying upwards of twice as much as they normally would because it's a donation scenario.
Right, right. And as opposed to like the vibe you get like on a convention floor where it's like it's not baked in. Like it's already, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because at that point you've already paid to get in the door. So you already have that financial output. Whereas with Kickstarter, you're able to just log in. I mean, that's the one difference I've noticed. And again, we haven't run or carried over any of our campaigns on the Indiegogo as of yet, mostly because of the fact that, if I had to keep on worrying about maintaining and monitoring the thing, I'd lose my mind. I can only do it within a certain window of time frame.
Well, what if you did, Tom? Like, what if you did, like, because I know this is like 2 of 3. Like, what if you had all 3 issues and just did a campaign there for the 3 issues kind of thing?
You know what? I mean, that's an idea, and maybe I should consider that. But my kicker on that is I have the Committee Comics website. We have an online store.
Yep.
It's true. Paying for that. Like, let's, why give a percentage of our sale to Indiegogo? Because then I'd have to do a slightly higher price point.
That's true.
And
go ahead, Johnny.
For business purposes, I'd say it's almost more conducive to do separate campaigns as opposed to doing all in one. I think you would probably make more per campaign than if you were to do one in like a one-shot deal.
That's probably definitely true. I mean, ironically, one of the campaigns that Community Comics ran that did not fund was a collection of a miniseries that we had already printed, and we had sold out of the book. And I set a certain amount of goal. It was, 100-page hardcover graphic novel type of deal. Didn't fund. I've printed the issues individually now with different covers to put the book back into print. And I've probably made more money than I would have on the Kickstarter.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
So it's just like, okay. And I've only got 2 of these.
You never know, really, right?
I've only got 2 of these out, and I'm, we've expanded it to a 4-issue series now. So it's like,
yeah. And timing has a lot to do with it too. I mean, you never know when you're hitting people. You never know when their money is flush. And there's also like a million other campaigns out there to compete with. So there might be a situation where a lot of the fans that would have bought, say, something of mine, but something else is coming out that they also like to collect, so the money can't go to 2 places. So you never know what the timing is going to be like.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. And the other thing I was going to say too is, like, I noticed too, it's like the crowdfundings is starting to get more bloated with people as the industry starts to shrink a little bit,
So I think
the
crowdfunding model now is turning into more of the convention model. So like all the other campaigns are all the other tables in Artist Alley, or all the other vendors that you have to contend with. And you just have to find a way to convince them to spend your $6 here, your $10 here, your $20 here.
It's like the best man stands out. Kind of
Well, that's where it becomes more about the person pitching the book than the book itself, almost, right?
Exactly.
Hooking them in and then letting the book sell the deal, right?
Right. So
it's a little tough.
There's a connection there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird. I mean, I have friends who, I'm friends with Jamie Tyndall. I'm friends with, like Brian Polito, we were talking about before. And, these guys, they run campaigns and they fund in 8 seconds and they have $80 billion. I mean, Terry Moore is doing a Kickstarter campaign for a collected, expanded version of his early comic strips from Strangers in Paradise. They just crossed 150,000.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
And
he still has another 2 weeks to go, and it's absolutely nuts because if he had just printed that and brought it to shows, I don't think he would ever. I don't know if he would ever hit that number.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yep.
But
I mean, you guys all did on this book almost 4 times what your ask was. That is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
I am.
Thanks,
I am
dude.
definitely not sad with where the Nira X campaigns end up. Ironically, we set the large happy goal of, like if we could hit 20K, that would make everything great in the universe. But I mean, we're almost at 12 right now, and at 15 we unlock another stretch goal, and I make Bill draw a enamel pin.
So, we've got 24 hours to go on that, so you never know. And this is the critical time where pledges come through. You start to see that uptick at the end. So
start getting an email, that notification reminder, like, hey, you saved this campaign. I mean, I think currently, and I never know. The funny thing is, I wish I was part of a Kickstarter group that was a little more detailed with their information, and I paid more closer attention to some things. But but like we have 27% conversion rate. Like I don't know if that's good or bad. Like I'm happy with it because of the fact that it's affording us, more backers and stuff like that. But it's like I wonder what the average is. I wonder if the average,
that would be interesting info. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I don't think Kickstarter has any information. I mean, they have it, they don't provide it, right? Like even if I was to go and pay for metrics, I don't think they provide that. Which I would be happy to pay for those kind of metrics to kind of see where my campaigns are sitting, right? Like, is 32% exceptional? Because I do know on a direct mailer, right, 1% return is astronomical.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to know that info too. Like maybe
Kicktrack does a certain amount of that. I don't know if you've seen that at all. Kicktrack is kind of So Kicktrack, it's a track spelled TRAQ, and you put in your campaign link, and it kind of spits out statistics. And it's kind of lopsided at the early stages of the campaign because it projects this massive number. But when you get through closer to the end, it actually gives you a really good realistic breakdown. And if you're a numbers graphs person, you can look in that and go, okay, this is where this worked well, this is where this may have not worked well. We had our most activity at this time, so it's real handy. Even for digital comics, Global Comics does that in the back end, and being able to see the analytics of when people read your book and at what page they drop off is huge. It's so awesome to have that.
I mean, that's the power that Netflix has, right? Like they know every minute as soon as we, pause it. They know how many times we pause a freaking movie.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes, Bill.
They know too much about me.
They know when we're taking a piss, Bill. They know when we're taking a
your
piss.
Poor bladder is affecting your
You rewound Basic Instinct many times?
I wrote it off as reference.
That one spot is weird. That one spot is worn out.
That's great.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the legs crossing scene.
No.
It was like some other scene.
Some great comments coming in too. Ken Zazer says, I think with Kickstarter, you get more investment from the consumer too. They drop more of a comic. They drop more for a comic, so I feel like it has to be a bit more profitable. I think so, but it also depends though, because sometimes we we don't put as much for shipping that we should. So sometimes that's taken out of our profits.
So
and
definitely the one issue I've had, and this is a good issue to have for the fans of Nira X, not so much for me, is I have a tendency to go over with the stretch goals. I will, give out a lot of stretch goals, a lot of good stuff. I mean, on this one alone, we've got a couple of stickers. We have a metal keychain.
That keychain is dangerous. You can use the doubles as a murder weapon, or defense weapon when you go into your car at night.
Yeah, it's a defense weapon.
You can kill somebody with that thing.
And again, it's a metal keychain. It's gonna be a nice one. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely on some previous ones, I've gotten a little too heavy. So I kind of kick myself because I'm like, I'm spending too much money on these free things. Damn it, But again, I'm also a fan of stuff, right? And the other thing which I do is, if I have stuff left over from the previous campaign, I'll throw it into the packages of new people who are just getting something for the first time. If I don't, because again, a lot of these people who come back, like Bill says, they're friends of his, their family, they're like his extended studio family. So I see a lot of the same names. And if I see brand new name who's getting, the Nira X Reborn series, the first one that we did, so they're doing the catch-up series and that kind of stuff, I'll throw a bunch of extra stuff in there.
Come to my comic book cookout.
Yeah.
The
fans want the boobies.
Boobies sell. Boobies sell.
Yeah, it's true.
I just want the world to be happy.
Yes.
Pops is on with us. Hey, Pops.
Oh, Lordy.
Hey,
Pops.
yo, you let anyone on
What's
this
up,
show. What up? LOL, that's great.
I don't know how expensive it is to do these, but I've seen a lot of products come out lately that are like just unique. Like ink stampers with like you can take a picture of your face and then you can send it into some place and they can make a ink stamp of your face or your pet or whatever.
Mhm.
And there's so many things like keychains or personalized keychains. I just bought somebody a birthday gift. It's an air freshener of their dog. So you just take a picture of the dog and like send it in, and they'll cut out the head and whatever. And like they're pretty expensive. They're like $11 per air freshener. But
Does it smell just like their dog?
Well, no. But the funny you say that. That'd be a great smell, like a wet dog smell or something. But one of the
I wouldn't be buying wet dog smell.
Well, you might if you heard some of these like scents. There's like a company called Insta Freshener, and one of the scents. I mean, they have their classic. They have like citrus smell, coconut, coffee. Yeah. They also have bacon, and also butt naked. Butt naked in bed. Like what does that smell like?
Almost on cue, I hear a dog.
You see, Waffle got upset. We're talking about dog scents.
But there's one scent is called butt naked in bed. So
no one needs a air freshener. It's butt naked in bed.
What does that mean, though? Does it mean are you clean?
It means you're gonna pay $12 for an air freshener.
I guess so.
Yeah. That's what it means.
I guess
because you need to know what that smells like.
To find out what it smells like. I guess.
Kevin Green says KickTrack says you guys are trending towards $12,140. Let's beat that. Yeah.
Let's smash that. Let's smash that goal.
Absolutely.
Let's make that projection wrong. Get our money back.
And again, I want to hit 15 because I want to make Bill, draw that enamel pin. It's going to be a little 1-inch bust of Nira.
There you go.
Just for bust, though.
Nice. Yeah, just for bust.
We need the scent of hot, sweaty fans at Comic-Con.
No, why did we
market that?
Yes, horrible things.
That would be the least selling air freshener of all time.
Kevin,
pretty sure.
It would sell. It would sell. Everybody who would buy it. Let's be honest. Just for the logistical stupidity of it.
Well, back in the day, they had those like scratch and sniff stickers from the 80s. You know those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had some horrific smelling things back then.
Oh yeah, like skunk. Skunk smell.
Yeah, actually, famously, one of the best inserts on a comic book was from Ren and Stimpy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the scratch and sniff door hang.
Wow,
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that
was
was
great.
one. And
what was the smell again? I forget.
It was. I can't remember what it was, but I just remember it was foul. It was not.
Yeah. That was
gross.
great. They don't do fun things like that anymore.
It's almost gotten cost prohibitive at this point. I mean, that's kind of what the stretch goals are if you think about it from campaigns now. Right? It's kind of translated to you back us on Kickstarter and you get this free stuff instead of being polybagged.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In the Gemini mailer with your stuff.
Well, instead of being in the middle of the comic centerfold, now you get them as like perks.
Yeah,
which is great.
Funny.
Yeah, no. So I'm excited that you guys have already smashed this goal. Like, I think it's amazing that Now, when are you guys planning on launching issue 3 of the series?
So the plan is at the end of this campaign, which is tomorrow, so we're probably slightly behind schedule by a couple of days. Bill was going to have all the pages penciled and inked, and as you can see, boys and girls, sorry, this way, he's not quite there yet with 24 hours to go. So
our fulfillment window is generous enough to
no pressure, Bill.
Yeah.
No pressure. I got plenty of time to finish this book. I want to make sure I always try to do my best work on everything. So that's I'm not going to rush through and give you stick figures.
Yeah. So Bill's got to finish up the book. Then I got to do fulfillment on it. And then, like he had mentioned earlier, he's got the Zen crossover book with Nira that him and Steve Stern are going to worry about. So he's going to have to at least finish the first issue on that. Bill, you said that was going to be in April that campaign's running, right? Or is it?
Yeah, the campaign runs until April 21st, I believe.
Okay, so May to April, and so probably looking at launching issue 3 in the late summer.
Okay,
just kind of give us some time.
It's not too far off.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, not too far around because as soon as I'm done with the Zen book, I'm actually, even though we're not going to start promoting or doing anything with the Nira book right away, I'm going to start working on it. So it's like I get to work on it ahead of time, knowing what our schedule is.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm
I've already
kind of-
got the main variant cover artist locked in for that project, and I've got to start that process, planning process, because we usually have one staple kind of guest artist, so to speak. On this campaign, it was Tony Moy. He did a gorgeous watercolor piece for us.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the next one, the ink's not dry on those contracts, so I'm not going to say who it is, but it's a short bucket list person that Bill wanted to work with. So I'm doing that, and then and we're going to have a handful of more kind of guest variant cover artists as well. This one, it was mostly Bill, Kat, and Tony on this one. So
very cool. So what would you say Nira X, how does she stand out amongst all the other bad girl comics?
Besides her chest.
Well, you know what? That's something that's actually up to the fans. I mean, that's
Okay.
that's never really up to me. I hope that the fans take to her and see that there's something about her personality or something about the way she carries herself or the way her values or her action, or I hope that there's something that they latch onto that they think is really cool.
Well, I think, again, starting in the, late 92 timeframe, 91, 92 timeframe area, I think the thing that makes her stand out against, whether it be she, Lady Death, Helena, Double Impact. These are some of the ones, digging deep on some of these ones.
Right, right.
You dug deep.
Talking about, Cinder. One, she's still being printed, and two, she's just fun, right? So like Brian has Lady Death and La Morta and all stuff, but I mean his books are not exactly adult, but they're serious. Well,
they're
want to be taken seriously.
Yeah, those stories are a little heavier too.
Yeah, they're a little heavy.
The subject matter and so it's a heavier.
With 2G, doing she. I mean, she is an assassin. She lives up to her name. Nira's a cyber angel, so she has boobies.
So the planet of the cyber angel planet or world, whatever, looks like the what people's idea of what flat Earth looks like. Is that like?
Yeah,
it's so pretty funny. Like,
and here's the thing: there's actually more to there's more to that flat Earth that the cyber angel world is actually made up of. And I'm hoping that people will have a lot of fun. I'm kind of throwing a little bit more sci-fi into the origins of Oasis, which is the name of that platform world that they all exist on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's kind of taken every place that Nira has been previously and mushing her into this new world to kind of give old school fans and brand new fans alike a place to kind of start.
Isn't that ironic?
I like the little battle world approach there. Sorry, Harry.
No, isn't that ironic that Nira X lives on a flat Earth?
A little ironic.
There's a lot of irony there. Yeah.
Kevin Green, I think, sums it up the best. He said, "Damn it, I was gonna say she's the breast."
Oh yeah. The breast.
That's great.
Now, even though this is where all the other cyber angels exist now, Nira X at her core is still kind of a intergalactic Lara Croft kind of character. So she's in it for the fun. She's in it for the adventure. So at some point, when she does kind of finish off her adventures on this Oasis world, it'll always be part of her story, and it'll always be somewhere that she visits, and there's going to be adventures that happen on this world. But she will venture back out into where we are, into the rest of the galaxy, and doing her bounty hunter thing or doing her mercenary thing, and having all those kind of adventures too. So this isn't a destination. This is just another cool place for her to kind of expanding the playground a little bit.
I love that you use Lara Croft as a touch point there in terms of the adventure and the exploration and that aspect of it too. That's a character type I don't think we see too often anymore.
Lara Croft, my daughter, when she was small, granted, she's the 26-year-old adult right now, but she tells me now it's like the reasons that she liked Lara Croft, of course, completely different from the reasons I got into Lara Croft, right? So,
Right.
but she's like, yeah, Lara Croft, she's essentially Bruce Wayne, Batman, Indiana Jones, like all wrapped up into one character. She plays for sport, but it's all her shit. It's all her stuff. And she's doing what she wants to do. And, and she gets into danger, and she's not a Mary Sue character. She gets in a situation she can't get out of also.
Right.
She realistically gets out of her situations, and she's just like kick-ass adventure character. So she's such a great character. She never noticed the boobs until I probably mentioned it myself later on, because she actually woke me up to something about a woman's point of view, because like I'm very sensitive about, oh, this is a sexy character. Look at this. And then I've got my daughter who's becoming an adult. She's like an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and she's like, yeah, I'm not impressed with the boobs. I have boobs. Why the hell would I be impressed with boobs? I like all these other things about the character that makes her so fun to play as the character, which I also like, but also half of me is like, yeah, I like her boobs.
There's a certain empowerment there, I'm sure, that is conveyed the same way we maybe idolized and looked to like we were saying earlier in the show, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, the action heroes of yesteryear.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody exerts the power in their own spheres. It's like, Schwarzenegger had his realm of influence for all the reasons that he had it. I mean, dude, he was like a muscle dude that I wish I could be a muscle guy like him, doing like these crazy ass adventures and stuff. The one-liners, it's like
that old saying, what ladies love him, guys want to be him.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, but that goes, I think, with the women characters too, if they're done well, is right. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Lara Croft is a prime example.
I think the harm comes in when the audience, and it doesn't matter, it could be men or women, it doesn't really matter. I'm not singling anybody out. The harm comes in when you start thinking that the entertainment is meant to be some kind of goalpost that you're supposed to achieve. This is supposed to be an escape. This is a fantasy. I want fantasy characters to be doing fantasy shit. I
agree.
I'm surrounded by real life. I get that for free.
Oh God, yeah. That's my biggest complaint with comics nowadays. It's like we go to comics to escape the real world, but then the comics are just giving us the real world, and it's just annoying as hell. Especially Marvel and DC do that a lot.
I don't want people to think that like when I talk to a fellow person, that doesn't have to be a male or female again, right? It's like, but it's like, if you talk to a person, you talk to them like a real person. You don't talk to them like, they're not a comic book character. They're not even when I meet a celebrity or somebody that I look up to as a certain character, like you talk to them like real people. You don't talk to them like they're two-dimensional characters. You have to draw the line. If you can't tell the difference between where the fantasy is, which is where we love to have fun, and where real life is, where you treat everybody with some level of respect and decency, and you're real people, you're actors, you're actresses. I might hate a character in a movie, but I'm not gonna get on Twitter. I'm formerly known as X.
It's still Twitter,
and I'm not gonna get on their personal Twitter and badmouth them as people. They got a job in a movie. It's like, I would have taken that job too. Are you kidding me? They paid a lot of money. It's like,
yeah, right.
So I might not like a character, and I'll talk to my friends about the character I hate.
Yeah, but you're not going to make a big public rant about it.
You're not going to confront that person at a convention and be like, oh, like I hate your character. It's like, now you're crossing a line. That's the person. That's
right.
It's just a character. It's just entertainment. So you have to sort of just be aware of some situational awareness, so that way we can all have fun and not worry about all this other stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't exist. Anyway, so
I know. I'll get off my soapbox now. Yeah, I'm going to start
a fantasy world. That's a fantasy world.
Yeah,
right
I'm starting a religion called the Billy Llama, and everybody can join me, and everybody is welcomed.
I was like, if I meet David Lindelof, am I still going to refrain from the things that I want to say?
Well, if he's that way in real life, then maybe you don't
Yeah.
have to bite your tongue after all. It's like
Yeah.
there's a difference between how people act in real life and how people act as the character they're written as or whatever. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
we would
sure.
certainly hope so. I mean, we don't want Christian Bale to be Jason Bateman. Let's just say that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, this is very true.
Yeah. Patrick Bateman, psycho idiot.
Yeah,
I'd
I
rather
wanted
prefer that
to,
Jason Bateman was actually Teen Wolf 2, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Let's not talk about horror movies just now.
Yeah. Want to share the link for the Nira X Kickstarter in the chat for
Yeah.
anybody
Awesome,
that's joining
awesome,
us
awesome.
tonight to check out.
I highly recommend the Pirate Nira X cover.
Yeah,
Oh,
let me
the,
scroll down and let's
one
take
by
a look
Thad?
at
Oh,
some
you know
of the
what?
artwork.
Yeah, thanks, dude,
Yeah.
for mentioning it. I have to mention something about the Pirate Nira cover because it looks
yeah?
it looks very digital because it is. It's a hand drawn.
There's the weapon right there.
There,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
There's the weapon.
I like that.
Dude,
That's
That's
good
better
one to
than a
have
rape whistle.
in case,
Yeah, I need it. And poke somebody in the eye with that thing.
So the pirate. Oh,
There
the
you
pirate
go.
cover.
Yeah,
There's
the
a
pirate
pirate.
cover.
Beautiful.
The
Look
So
how
this-
gorgeous that cover is.
artist
So this
created
was-
that
yeah.
is extremely talented to where that is not AI. People sit there and be like, that looks like an AI cover. And it's like, no, it's what happens when an actual artist has skills and understands how to use a computer and understands how
Wow.
to use painting techniques. And
Isn't that sad though? That art. What's his name? Thad Rhodes, right? The third.
Yep.
So it's sad that he has to defend himself. You know.
it's
that-
ridiculous.
Well, I
he's
feel like over the
working
past
20 years.
I feel like over the past 12 weeks, since AI is sort of like become a lot more prevalent,
Mhm.
anything that looks fairly digital or fairly like maybe something somebody couldn't draw or something, like people tend to assume things. He's been doing stuff like this for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
I mean, it's
amazing. That's
People
like
forget Joe Jusko's like ultra realistic Fleer Marvel cards from back in the day.
Yeah,
like,
right.
they
He
were-
marveled stuff
you
back
know?
in the day. Look at his Conan covers that he's painting.
oh, these
now.
Conan covers are
Yeah,
That
amazing.
man is insane.
Yeah,
Frank Frazetta. I mean,
Yep.
there's a million artists that are like
Yeah.
with this.
So yeah,
And all Thad's doing is he's taking those same techniques that Jusko uses on a canvas, and he's taking those same techniques that Frazetta used, with his pen and ink, and he's just using it with a stylus.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Amazing.
he is creating that. So and
yeah,
that's
he's got good stuff. It's good
yeah,
stuff.
that there, believe it or not, when Bill was sending me the file for the campaign and stuff like that, he goes, "Well, this is Thad's rough. He's not done with it yet." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff to do on it. And,
Like,
and
I'm
when
like,
you
"That's
see it
fun."
in print, you're actually going to be able to see the pencil art that's underneath all of that computer rendering. Also,
Really? Wow.
Yeah, you can also see what's underneath her shirt if you scroll down.
Well,
This is
yeah,
true.
that's
This is
another
very true.
tier. Here you get to see that. Those are the covers I
Pirate's,
drew.
Pirate's booty.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
That's
My
great.
bow tie just spun.
And like I say in the description, this is probably the closest you're going to get to seeing a nude live action Nira.
Yeah, no, it's the image is
Yeah,
amazing.
so please throw in an extra 20. I think Thad could use it. It's all good. It's just for all this double checking over his shoulder.
Yeah.
maybe Thad should join the Spawn cover contest.
Oh my
If
gosh.
he wanted to waste a month of his time, he would have.
Yeah, right.
He's got better things to do.
Yeah,
Most people
and unfortunately, he can't join that contest because he doesn't know how to use AI.
Yeah.
Oh, I made a burn. Bill made a joke.
I like it.
What's people's opinion of Alex Ross? Anybody? Do people like? Is he like?
Alex Ross.
Alex Ross is great. Yeah, Alex
Yeah,
Ross is
he's one.
fantastic.
He's one of my favorite artists. But no, I don't really hear him. Talked about much.
I
but-
I consider him like fine art. He's
Well, he
a
also
fine art
doesn't-
approach. Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of comic work now, which is why you don't hear about him right now.
Mhm.
He does occasional covers. A lot of the stuff that he is doing now, at least for I don't think it's exclusive to Marvel anymore, but for a period of time he was exclusive, and he was doing all the Spider-Man covers and stuff like that. That in my opinion wasn't some of his best work because he was back on almost a monthly schedule
Mhm.
to turn one or two of those covers out, a month.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
So he
work. It's a lot of
started
work.
to, I mean, there was a couple covers I saw where Spider-Man was like tiny on a city backdrop, but I'm like, oh, he ran out of time on that one. That's why he needed to make
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man tiny, on an angle. And
But
Yeah,
those
some of the
Marvels
covers
books were
for,
awesome, though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
his
Yeah.
best work, in my opinion, was mini series that Marvel did. I think he only did 2 of the covers. Outer Space or Out of Space or something like that. It was it was like a 4-issue prestigious format. Open Space, that's what it was called.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not
Okay.
familiar with that one.
And he did
Yeah,
like
me
the
neither.
first
Yeah, I have
cover
to
on
look
that.
it up now.
People
And-
consider
okay.
him. People consider him to be like the Norman Rockwell of like,
Oh yeah. That's a good comparison. Actually, that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, he's
would-
doing
I would go with that.
currently he's doing Fantastic Four covers. Like he's been I don't like the creative team on the book, so I don't pick it up, but
Mhm.
every time we get the issue in the shop, I have to go check out the cover at least, so and they're awesome.
Yeah, he changed up his style on that one, and it was mostly when he did the hardcover graphic novel and it was kind of this almost like freaky multicolored line style instead of like his very hard painting style.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And for the story, it worked great. Like I bought that, and it really. He described it as his love letter to Lee and Kirby, Fantastic Four, the first 100 issues. And I sat down and I read the graphic novel, and it has that feel. It has that.
Okay,
feel.
that was a story-driven choice then.
Yeah. But that's also how he's doing some of the covers now, which I like that style. I like the way he kind of morphed it into this. So he's not sitting there just taking forever to paint every single detail.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of more gesturing. So
Cat's cover is really good too.
Yeah.
Now that I see it
Yeah,
on the campaign.
I really love her covers. So cute. And there's a story reason for Nira to be kind of looking like a mermaid for this cover too.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be a fun scene in the book.
Man, you
but-
guys got some awesome variant covers on this campaign.
oh,
Like, this
thanks,
one's
man.
great too.
yeah, that's the Tony Moy one that I was talking about. So it was funny because when I contacted Tony, I've known Tony for years. He's been a friend of mine, and I used some of this variant cover hoopla as an excuse to work with some of my friends, right? Like, it's like, I talked to Tony last year at Emerald City, and I was like, "Hey, what's on your plate?" He's like, "Oh, nothing much." And I'm like,
I
"Can you do a
got
cover
some
for
more
me?"
hoopla for you.
Yeah, do a hoopla. So he turned this in, and I was gonna do like a foil version of the
Mhm.
cover. But I sent it to my digital guy, and he was like, the colors are so intertwined, he couldn't find a good way to pull out one color to foil, to mask
Right.
out,
Yeah.
Okay.
because he had done it such an intricate, piece. Because again, these are low resolution. Like when you get the high resolution cover, it's gonna look, 10 times more impressive. So that's when I was just like, screw it, we'll make it all metal. It's so easy to get a metal cover if you spend the money.
Nice.
Yeah, this is great. How many this is like 5 or 6 covers you guys have?
I think on this one there's 9.
Oh my
Wow.
Yeah, I
god,
think
you
so,
guys are
yeah.
like getting to
Big
Dynamite
swing.
Comics level.
No, the last one was worse. The last one we had, I want to say 14.
Whoa.
Because between the trade dress and the non-trade
Still not
dress,
as bad as Dynamite.
yeah, between the trade dress and the non-trade dress. So this time around, all the variant covers, for the most part, if you notice, they're all virgin covers. They don't have a trade dress on them.
Those are nice. I like
just
the
for
Virgin.
fact that
Me too. Yeah.
I couldn't go back and forth, and then me and Bill came up with the idea to do this back cover design that has all the branding on it.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, that works. So
That's
that's,
really
Bill
good
Bill's
stuff.
too many covers. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's Tony's metal, and I say, imagine this image in metal.
Well, I mean, that seems to be the rage now, is all the multiple covers anyways in the
Yeah.
shop that I work at, like
It really is, and I'm not a huge
From
fan.
90s all over again.
Yeah, I'm not a
There's
huge
Waffle.
fan. There's Waffle. Just
Mr.
because.
Waffle. Yeah, a large portion of this campaign goes to buying some snacks for the little waffle. So
Oh,
I
nice.
need everybody to throw in, please, like an extra 20. or
Oh,
40
that
bucks.
mouse pad's great.
yeah. So it's
the
the
mou-
button
that-
this
that was
time
a-
instead of the boobs.
That was
I
a
love it.
that was a checkbox item. It's like Tom found me a not a distributor, but a manufacturer.
Manufacturer.
Yep.
Yeah, so when we
Nice.
did the second campaign, the second issue of Reborn, which was our very first campaign, we were going through the checklist of different things for merchandise. And I said to Bill, what do you want? And he goes, I've always wanted a booby mouse pad for Nira because, again, it fits the character.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was like, all right. So we did 2 versions of the booby mouse pad, 2 different background colors. And then on the 3rd issue of Reborn, we did an evil Nira butt mouse pad.
Yep.
I am now happy to announce that the Nira X boobies, both versions, are 100% sold out. We have one of the evil Nira butt mouse pad left for retail sale. And now we are introducing the Mercy mouse pad, showing her posterior. So, get it while you can, because I only do a couple over the order.
Gotcha.
And then it's I close it off.
She's dropping her new album
Yep.
this summer.
There's the nude pillowcase. that Bill
Pillowcases,
felt
huh?
the need.
Wow. I think that's the first I've seen on a campaign of a pillowcase. That's
We
great.
did one. We did
That's
one
wild.
last time. We did a body pillow last
Did you
time.
really? Wow.
Yeah. I felt dirty.
Amazing.
It's like a real doll. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's in the chat on Bill's channel that he does on Saturday. There's been plenty of talk on that.
I'll be on in a minute.
Well, sometimes it's lightning outside and there's thunder and you're scared and you just need to hug something.
Right.
That's great.
So then our
Sketch
friend
covers.
our friend Mog Park jumped on and she offered up 6 different sketch covers for
That's
people
cool.
to get.
Great idea.
And so,
Yeah, I mean these
and this is examples of Bill's commissions.
Bill's works. Yeah.
Most of them, I think, are sold out. I think we actually still have like 1 or 2 of the commission slots, which is shocking because in the past, as soon as they've gone up, they've been gone. So
These standees are kind of neat. I was thinking about doing something like that for one of my future campaigns.
Yeah, they're super fun.
They're easy. In terms of conventions, they're super easy to take the conventions because they're flat. You know,
Right.
They fit right in there. And then so we did 2. That's the first series from issue 1 of Dark Seas. We have 2 new ones for this campaign, and then on issue 3 there will be 2 more for a total of 6. And then we're also going to have
to catch them all, kind of thing.
Yeah, we're also gonna have a backdrop.
Exactly.
We're gonna have a backdrop for them so you can stand them and display them in front of.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Great
so-
idea. Yeah, this is awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
The challenge coin, that's great.
Yep.
Look at it. You guys get a lot of great stuff. Double-sided
There's
body
the body
pillow.
pillow. There's the double-sided body pillow. One side was safe for work. One side is not safe for work. We only had 4 of those as add-ons on the campaign. As from last I saw, they were all gone. They were all spoken for. So
amazing.
Yeah, I've got one hanging up in my storeroom back here. So I hang the safer side workout when during the day. And but like the pillowcase is huge. It's like a banner. It hangs from like the top.
Oh, is it
of the-
really? That's awesome.
It's a body pillow. It's 5.5 feet long almost.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
So
is fun. You know, if you guys are into like the Bad Girl comics or even just a fun action sci-fi adventure, this one, you should check this one out. Let me share the link one more time in the chat here. Is there a specific tier that you guys recommend people check out?
I mean, for me, it's again the base cover. If you find a cover that speaks to you, get that cover.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just get the issue and add on the first issue or Reborn. Get caught up with Nira. That's what I suggest to people, so that way everyone knows everything.
Hey,
Yeah, the good thing is I think almost everything is available in the add-on store.
Yes,
So,
almost
so,
everything.
So if you pick the tier that you like best, you should be able to mix and match and add some goodies here and there like you would like to, without worrying about it's like, oh, do I have to get this tier because it only comes with that one or whatever like that. So you'll be able to mix and match as you like.
Yeah, that's great. And that's the way to do it too, And you guys are offering, I'm assuming, the first issue as well in this campaign.
Yeah,
So
first issue, and then also the first miniseries
And
we
then you
did.
said that this specific mini series is good for both longtime readers and new readers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could jump in. The way her stories are written is like you really don't have to know too much about what's come before if you don't want to pick it up right now.
I
You can
gotcha.
you can really just enjoy the adventure and the action, and everything is explained well enough as you're moving into it. You're just like, oh, this is just what's happening to them right now, you know.
Gotcha.
And you
gotcha.
can enjoy that for what it is.
Yeah, no, this looks great, guys. So, and then, I mean, you already smashed the goal. So, you know, it's like, it's not pushing too hard, but, you know, it's like if anyone's waiting, you know, you guys got less than 24 hours to
Yeah,
go
don't
at that
wait
point.
any longer.
Yeah.
You know, time to get
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And
Now's the time to do
remember
it.
that everybody's backer number is going to be put into a randomizer. I didn't have to twist Tom's arm too badly for this. This is an easy sell. So the original art for the original 11 by
Oh, look at
17
that.
inked artwork is going to be a free giveaway to
Get
one
out,
backer.
really? Like,
Yeah.
like, so that's a cover
Wow.
that
This is one of the covers, right?
that
This
would
is-
be like a $300 piece easily,
Minimum. Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah. So
Wow,
and
and that's going to be sent to somebody for free.
for
here,
free.
yes, but
Yeah.
here's the kicker. Here's even the
Okay.
larger kicker. It doesn't have to be a physical backer.
Really?
You can
So even if
literally
someone
get the
backs on
digital
digital,
tier, you get the PDF, and you have just as well of a chance to win this original artwork as somebody who gets the physical tier.
no
I'll put
kidding.
I'll
Kevin
put it side.
Green
I'll
is
put it
saying at
sideways.
500
Kevin-
backers, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Well, that
where
was
you guys?
the original plan.
That was the
I
original
think
plan.
Basically, what's going
Okay.
to happen is at the end of the campaign, I'm going to put everybody's name or number into a randomizer, into a giant jug, and it's going to spit out a number. And that's who's going to get it.
That's even
Nice.
better though, because
Yeah.
the odds are greater now
Yep.
with less than 500 to get this piece.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, it's one of those kind of things that it's just like me and Bill are fans. We're fans of comic books. We're fans of, Kickstarter campaigns and that kind of stuff. I've backed a ton of them myself. In fact, I think I have 7 active pledges right now.
Oh
from
wow.
other people's campaigns.
Oh yeah, Tom's a
Right.
great supporter, dude. It's like he supports a ton of campaigns. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
really need to stop. But anyway, so I do again. What we do is what I would like to see everybody else do, right? I would love it if Terry Moore on his Kickstarter just said, some random backer is going to get a piece of artwork or something like that. I mean, we've already given away 2 sketch cards, a black and white sketch card and a full color sketch card that Bill's going to do
Mm-hmm.
on the campaign.
Seizing.
people
That's
are excited
amazing
by
incentive.
Yeah, I mean, again, why not? It's going to sit in Bill's studio otherwise, underneath the tons of other pages that he's
Yeah.
got going on.
No,
so
that
might as well-
is awesome because not a lot of people do that kind of stuff.
No.
Like it's such a nice thing to do.
I want people to have fun and be entertained and get the most bang for their buck that we can actually produce. If I could afford to do more, we would do more. But it's financially, we're doing. I mean, Tom puts together a really, really good campaign. When I put together a campaign by myself, it's like some Mickey Mouse little Crayola campaign. it's like here's my tier. Here's my that's it. That's all there is. All right, let's go. Let's go home. Let's go home. Tom really puts together like a good event. So everything that when we do something for Committed Comics as a group, we really do put together, I think, a pretty good show. So
Kevin,
people
it's
to
not
enjoy
just
it.
at 500 backers. It's going to be just at the end of the campaign.
Yep,
However,
at the
Yeah,
end of the
that's
campaign. Yep.
incredible. So yeah, if you guys are watching, this is the time to back. I mean,
Yep.
the chances
Do it
of
now.
winning
Don't
this
wait.
is 1 in 227 right now. So
Yeah.
hopefully by tomorrow it'll be more like 1 in 500, maybe. If you get a lot
who
of
knows?
backers at the last minute.
Yeah. I mean, we've had some people
fantastic.
drop out as well. They've canceled their pledges, and so at this point, it's like it's not even 227. Oh, I guess technically it is 227, but it's like,
Right. If someone backs out at the
if
last minute.
number 7 is gone and I pull number 7, guess what? I have to redo it.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
it's
That's a
not-
good
No,
idea.
no. If people back out, the contest is off. That's it. Now the pressure's on, and then we'll
Yeah.
find the person that backed out, and
That's right.
That's
It's
amazing.
their fault. It's their fault you didn't get the free stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. And I also want to say, too, we got so many people watching us tonight. If you're watching us on Facebook or X or Twitter, please consider jumping on YouTube and subscribing to Indie Comics Relay. Help us spread the message far and wide. Like great creators like this that we have on the show, help us get their projects out to more people. So, and just help us spread the word. So.
I've seen people do this kind of thing at conventions too. They do like a print, then they have like a contest. Someone could win it. It's a good way to get people to go to your table,
Right.
at conventions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice little gimmick.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, absolutely, dude. I just love it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks,
So,
Brandon.
yeah,
Thanks
so,
for subscribing, dude.
Yeah, I saw that, Ramon. Hey, Ramon, good to see you, man. Haven't talked
Very
to you in a
cool.
long time. Subscribing now. Thanks,
It's been a
man.
minute, dude.
Yeah.
I remember-
Oh, you know
I remember
Ramon too, Bill?
From
Oh, yeah.
no, from back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, wow,
me and
okay.
Bill
Yeah,
actually
I
met
know him.
him.
I
Well, see how
tabled
time
with him
flies.
once
I
in New
haven't even
York.
hung out with you in a year or two, right? So it's like we have to
Yeah.
remedy that. Make sure we hang out a little bit more often, right?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. We'll have you back when the Zen campaign goes live, because I'd love to dig into the history of that whole thing. With
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
Oh, yeah. Steve's
That'd be
got
awesome.
all the know-how and knowledge on that bad boy.
And Ramon says,
For
"Hey
sure.
guys, need to get back to CA."
Yeah,
know,
or do we
right?
need to come
Yes,
back out
yes.
to Baltimore?
Yep.
That's where
Yeah,
I'm
right.
Little San Diego action. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One other thing I wanted to shout out to people too is like Tom has redone like the Committed Comics website.
Yes.
You can go here, find all their
Beautiful.
comics, and also I saw a link to get in on the newsletter as well.
Yeah.
There's a newsletter that you're going to be doing, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those kind of things I need to build up, and then I'm gonna have to start, putting out more stuff, more information. I'll probably be doing a bunch of giveaways and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's the
Nira
way
X
to
is
do it, man.
dominant.
Yeah, no,
On
this
the
is
website.
great. It's the way you start. You
Yep.
build everything up, and
Yep, just got to keep on building. And it's funny because for years I did the website myself. I did all the coding and stuff like that. And then finally this year I was like, no, I don't have the time. Like that's one of the reasons why it never got updated.
gotcha.
So I gave it off to Murphy over at Crowd Control, and she, made some graphics. She did a great job. She did that header right there. And,
That's nice.
she does amazing work, and she did it quick. Like it was kind of funny because I had to give her some adjustments and edits and changes, and she was waiting on me.
Amazing.
But again, it's that's why I needed to hire somebody. Because I don't have the time anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Gotta
well, I mean,
gotta delegate.
yeah, get the campaigns, and
Uh-huh.
I know how it is, man. I'm crazy busy too, so
Yeah.
I know exactly the stuff you're going through. And then also wanted to highlight Bill Maus's website here, billmaus.com. Little shot
thanks,
of
dude.
Zen there as well.
Yep.
And is this where people can get a commission from you, Bill, or just?
Well, they can get some commission information. The contact link that's on the page just takes you straight to my email address, which is billmausart@gmail.com. So they can get some commission info there. They can look at my online store. I rotate some original art and comics and things out of my store. And my convention list is really, really light this year. Only really planning on hitting a couple of places this year so I can get all caught up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, behind on commissions and things like that. So when people do order a commission, I have to let them know first and foremost that the line is a little long and it's going to take a little while for the turnaround. So thankfully, people have been super cool about that and still adding more people onto the list slowly, but because I don't want to overload the list when I'm still trying to catch up.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, Johnny, you'll have to go visit Bill. And
I was going to say, Bill, we'll have to link up in California. I'm always at booth 2103 in Section C there.
I've got this 50-50 chance of making it to San Diego this year. So hopefully,
okay.
I actually just finished. I just finished doing my registration, my pro badge, and all that good stuff. So I've got everything lined up. If I can get everything caught up before June-ish, then I'll be there. Yeah, I don't like to miss San Diego.
Yeah, he won't have a spot he will be floating between the Committee Comics booth, the First Comics booth,
Right.
and where was the last one you were going to end up at?
No, those are the two places.
Was it
That-
two? I
that's-
thought there was,
yeah.
I thought there was
Oh,
the third
cool.
one.
No,
Well,
no.
I'll
No, he's
come by.
tying at
I'll-
Johnny's booth.
Yeah. Hey, we'll open up the space for you, man.
All right, I'll come hang out with you. Yeah, just stay in touch
It'll
with me,
be
man.
cool.
Yeah.
I know. I got to get out there again. It's been a couple of years now. I got to get back to San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're next
actually,
to Mike Wellman and Raphael. I don't know if you're familiar.
So you're over in the exhibitor tables area?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're that section C right there, independent publishing. We're right
Okay,
under the red
perfect.
banner.
Gotcha,
Oh, okay.
gotcha. Okay.
Johnny C in section C.
In
This
the
is a
section
great,
C.
Johnny
great
C. Section C.
tagline. Committed
I-
Comics. Our website is clean. Our comics not so much.
That's
I
great.
love it.
You got it, dude. You got it. That's it. That's our
That's
tagline
great.
from now on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. I am also going to start to wrap up here because we've been talking for 2 hours. If you guys can believe that, doesn't
Time
feel
flew
like
by.
it.
Dude,
Doesn't feel like it.
having
It
fun,
feels
man,
like
right?
we've just been chatting for about a half hour. you
Okay,
know?
let's do a quick around the room here. F. Mary Kill, Chitara, Chitara, Spider Woman, or Firestar. Anybody?
Which version of Spider Woman?
Always Campbell's. Always Campbell's.
Yeah.
Or Sydney
That's
Sweeney.
funny.
One of the two. You know?
Yeah,
Sydney
right.
Sweeney, yeah.
we
Amazing.
need to take up a collection. Get Sweeney a better writer and a better cinematographer, and stick her in a Spider-Woman movie by herself. That's what needs to
Oh
happen.
man, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because she ended up being the coolest person on the internet, man. Because she actually owned the situation, and she didn't try to make excuses. And she's just like, "Yeah, this is what happened, but this is what
Well,
happened."
You know the crazy,
You know?
the crazy thing about
She's
that
so
is
cool.
I saw a promo piece interview that they did with her, and she was talking about how she always saw, Jessica upside down, coming down. That's the iconic,
Yeah, I
spider-
saw. Yeah, I
spider
saw
fill
that
the
little
blank.
thing. Yeah.
And she literally said she had to beg them to do that shot, and I'm like, that right there told me that what kind of movie this was going to be.
Right.
If
right.
you have to turn around and tell the producers or the director or the writer,
Exactly.
hey, we need to incorporate this standard shot of a
Yeah.
character.
This iconic shot that says this is what the character does all the time
Right,
in
right.
the book.
Yeah.
Now, did
It's
any of you guys see the movie? I haven't seen
No.
it yet.
I haven't seen it, man. Too many people told me to stay away, and I never heard one positive review.
Yeah,
like,
same.
like it was literally
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah, of Madam Web.
Her costume
Madam
looked great, though. Like, I mean, for
thought it was-
adapting
yeah.
the costume to live action, I
Yeah.
thought it was awesome.
It
Yeah,
just
but the
needs to be in a
problem
better
is
movie, dude. Yep, that's
Yeah.
it.
The
Like,
cowl was a
3
little
minutes.
funky, but the rest
A
of it
little,
was great.
little funky, like the cowl, like the sides kind of look like black teardrops coming down instead of
Yeah.
like the way it is. But you know what? I would have taken that if it was in a well-written movie. That's it.
Right,
I
yeah.
suffered through
They just cashed the
Aquaman.
check.
I suffered through Aquaman most recently, so it's going to take me a little bit to go
I'm sorry.
Go
dude.
for
to watch Madam
little
Web.
Go for
rehab,
another
little bit of
one.
rehab.
Yeah,
What did everybody think of She-Hulk? Did anybody like that? Or show?
I enjoyed it.
I
You know what? I enjoyed it too. I knew
I-
what it was going to be. It was
Yeah.
fine, and it was funny, and she breaks the fourth wall. But that's what
That
she
was
does.
awesome.
It
Yeah,
was very, it was
I have
very
no
John
problem
Byrne or whatever. It's like
breaking the fourth wall. I thought that was fine, and that is very in character with the Byrne series and stuff like that. My major issue was halfway through the series, you could tell they stopped writing.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah,
and
they got-
said,
they were spinning her wheels a
yeah,
little bit.
at some
And the
halfway
ending,
through
the ending was
series-
really messy. The
Right,
ending was
because
really
it basically was, oh well, she breaks the fourth wall. We don't have to finish the story.
right.
She can
And
just acknowledge the story, and then we can end it. And it's
Yeah,
like
and then
that's not
at
an
the,
end.
the way they ended it, like they could just do whatever because she's aware that she's in a comic book or she's aware that
Right.
she's in a TV
And,
show.
and that
that was lazy. It was lazy writing.
lazy.
Yeah.
It was lazy writing. You
They
know,
that
probably
doesn't
could
mean
have used 2 more episodes to round that out, But
Yeah. Well, I need a
budget was
second
probably
season.
through the roof.
I
Yeah,
don't.
I
think
need,
that
I need a
would've
whole
worked.
new season. I need a new I need
No,
a season
no,
two
I don't
with
think
a
that
better
would work
writing
because-
staff.
No, but that's the thing. It's not going to work, and they're not going to do a second season because they stopped writing. Right?
Oh,
so
for
they
sure,
told
yeah.
us. They told us exactly. They had a shot to get it done,
Yep.
and they told us, "Well, we think so highly of the project, we're going to put it down halfway through
Yeah.
and let
yeah.
it roll the rest of the way down the hill."
Yeah, the battle begins and ends in the writer's room.
Yeah.
It's like that's where you got to spend a little bit more money.
And that's
Absolutely,
where
yeah.
I think they have a big issue when they start to do the whole let's make sure there's enough representation and inclusion and example. It's like tell a story and then figure a way.
When they're more focused on that, it's always going to hurt the project.
Exactly.
That support group episode, though. I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to step on you, but I was going to say that support group episode, though. That was like awesome,
dude. That was fire.
Just a bunch of D villains that were getting together trying to reform.
Freaking hilarious, dude. I love that episode.
So
I love that episode. I want to see more of She-Hulk. It's just,
but that's the thing is that episode it served its purpose to have Jennifer realize that she had to become okay with Jennifer, not just She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And again, it was like whoever wrote that episode did a great job. Unfortunately, they didn't write all the episodes. Maybe they should have. Maybe they should have been the showrunner. I don't know.
And it definitely blew the chances of a season 2 just rolling in because they dropped the ball on a few of them. Not a good way to end the season. Not a good way to.
No, I mean Marvel's going through a whole restructuring thing. I mean the last
they botched a lot of stuff, not just that.
Well, they canceled Eternals and they canceled Ant-Man 4 and they canceled a couple things.
Well, they can't. Let's be honest; those things canceled themselves. I mean, there was no, Ant-Man Quantumania.
I like the last Ant-Man. I don't know. I'm the only guy.
So, man, Johnny stands alone. But if I go to San Diego, I'll still hang out with you, man. I'll still go.
Right on, bro.
We're good.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed it as a one-shot issue, right?
Right.
By no means is that to build your next major character, which is what it was trying to do. If they had done that to Thanos in Age of Ultron, it would have just been a garbage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the build up would have been gone. Yeah. Sure.
They took their main villain and they had Ant-Man beat him. So how is it supposed to be scary when he goes up against Thor?
Yeah,
I think, maybe some producers started taking things for granted.
Yeah, great point, Tom. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, Endgame ended on such a big, heavy note that they thought they could just do anything. And just cut costs or do whatever. And
that's the thing. What they should have done is taken a few years off and really thought about where the next phase was going to go,
or solely concentrate on TV, like at that point.
Yeah, or
some TV shows. Yeah,
right. Not just kind of half-ass it and think.
I mean,
put a Marvel logo on it. It's just going to sell.
Most of the TV shows.
You notice if it's bad.
And I think that was part of the problem. Is the last Avengers movies kind of was such a defining end. That a lot of people started checking out after that, and you can tell.
Yeah, that's true too. There's a lot of truth to that too.
Well, I could pick up stuff from the like No Way Home was great. I love that.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with MODOK.
Guardians 3 was really good.
I enjoyed Guardians. Yep.
Yeah. So there's Moon Knight. That was actually the best of it. You know what I mean? Of the TV shows, Moon Knight, Loki.
And Moon Knight was a surprise for me because I went into it with zero expectations and I didn't know what. Because I actually didn't follow Moon Knight before the show. So I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what to root for.
Moon Knight was one of my
I had a good time. It was good.
Characters from
back. It was good,
yeah. And
they added some stuff to Moon Knight, and then fixed some of the things I thought didn't work in the comics.
The main issue I had with it was they didn't introduce the most interesting aspect of Mark Spector until the last episode.
Yeah.
Which that annoyed me because it's like, no, that's supposed to be the main conflict of the character.
Yeah.
It wasn't just with Mark.
Right.
The thing I liked that they did well that I thought was better than the comic was to assign the different costumes to the different personalities. Like the Mr. Knight was kind of assigned to the Stephen Grant character version, and then Moon Knight himself was Mark Spector. I was like, that is a cool idea that they never did in the comic.
And I think they did that. I think they were able to do that because they had the different visual iterations. If you think about it, back in the back in the 70s when they were doing Moon Knight for the most part, even when they brought him back for Fist of Khonshu, when they actually expanded on the Khonshu lore and stuff like that, they had only one costume.
Yeah.
It wasn't until literally like 2000 or
when Warren Ellis created the Mr. Knight persona, right? Yeah.
And so it wasn't until then that they actually gave me a completely different look.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. You know,
I like
well,
that look
Keith
though.
Lowe.
I
well,
thought that was a great look. And then the other thing that they threw right out the window that the comics always did, which I thought was funny, was the comics always played with the idea of, is Khonshu real, or is he just in Mark Spector's head? And that show just threw that right out in the first episode.
Well,
He's like, he is real, you know?
Yeah, I did like the fact that they gave Khonshu more of a personality, which I think
Yeah,
is
me
more,
too.
more in the later series.
I like
more
that they
in the first
leaned into
series.
that weird stuff, because that was always made Moon Knight kind of unique to me, you know? And less of a Batman knockoff was when they leaned into the Khonshu stuff, you know?
Which, you know, I mean, that's essentially what he was. Is, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
No, that's cool.
We're
I'm
all
glad they
missing
did that.
Frenchie though. We wanted Frenchie.
and that's the moral dilemma compass, right? Like, that's the character who gets. If you thought Mark was the one who did the dirty work, no, Frenchie is the one who does the dirty work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I wanted Margot too. They threw out all that kind of stuff too, which I thought was kind of. It was Margot, right? The girlfriend that was always his off and on.
So I think they gave her a different name in this one. They didn't call her Margot, I don't think.
It was the other girl, which they put into continuity now. I guess that girl is in the comics.
Oh, is she in the comics now?
Yeah.
For all
As
the
the
liberties they
Scarab or
took,
whatever her name was, the Scarab or something.
Yeah.
for all the liberties they took and whatnot, they still I thought they did a good job. It was enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that was one of the more successful. Although the one issue I did have with it was that first issue. The first episode was a really hard episode to get through. I talked to a lot of Marvel fans who are preliminary, or peripheral fans. They're not hardcore fans that couldn't get past that first episode. And I was like,
I heard about that too.
And I hate to be that person that says, no, it gets better if you just
stick with it.
I didn't have to say that. If I have to say that to somebody, that show failed.
Yeah.
That show
I became very enamored when they moved the sky.
Yes.
That was
cool. I thought that was the coolest thing in that show.
Great effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm blanking on the actor's name who played Moon Knight, but he was
Poe
really
Dameron.
good.
Wasn't it Poe from Star Wars?
But what's the actor's name?
Oscar
Oliver Isaac.
Oscar Isaacs. Yeah.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah, he was really good. He did all the personas really differently.
He did. Yeah. You could tell when he was a different persona. Like you could immediately tell in his
he
face.
did a really good job with that. So because Moon Knight was always one of my favorite Marvel characters next to Spider-Man. So I was really concerned that they were going to botch this one up, but they did a good job.
I kind of feel like I would have been more satisfied, although it technically would have been shorter. I think having it be a feature for me would have been better. And I think
a movie.
Yeah, and I think the real reason for that is because when they're scripting and they're doing a breakdown of the scripts and stuff like that for a show, they get multiple viewpoints in. When you're writing a feature, you have that one person's vision with input from other people. So it's kind of like we were talking about with the She-Hulk with that one episode that was great. Could you have imagined if that person was writing the whole 2 hours?
Right.
You would have gotten a much different thing.
Yeah, and you can also, employ 3 acts and have a story arc with 2 hours and everything. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there, but at the same time, since they already did it this way, I'll pull out the positive and say that I got a 10-hour movie.
No,
there you go. There's a way to look at it.
and they
you're right though. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They did announce that they're considering a season 2. I don't believe it's inked.
I did see that. Yeah.
But because people were, that was one of the big issues. Was like, okay, so you gave this character resolution, and then you gave us another persona, which derails the resolution.
Right.
Then you walk away, and so as a viewer for myself, going, that was the most interesting persona you just threw out the window.
Oh, I know.
As a throwaway.
You got so much in my brain to think about it. Like I'm gonna already spend the rest of the evening trying not to judge Halo because I'm trying to finish that season of. They changed so many things around to fit in characters that weren't in the game.
Is it good, Bill? Because I was thinking of starting it, but.
Did you play the game? Are you familiar with the characters?
I have played the game, but I'm not terribly.
If you're not
familiar with all the lore, though,
if you're not terribly, if you're not familiar with the lore, I think you'll enjoy it just fine.
Because I am familiar, but peripherally familiar.
Right.
And I really enjoy the series. And then I talk to people like Bill or other people who are hardcore gamers, and they're like, it's terrible, and I'm like,
yeah, well, you know, the
why?
things that people would complain about if they're complaining is, first of all, you never see Master Chief is supposed to be the embodiment of you. You want to pretend that you are Master Chief. So the main
he takes
character,
his mask off, right?
Right, he takes his helmet off.
The Stallone Judge Dredd
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's what they're complaining about.
You know what? If the Mandalorian can take his damn mask off and everyone's okay with it,
right,
then Master Chief can take his mask off.
Well, see, that's why I'm pulling back and just trying to enjoy the show for what it is, because there are certain things that they introduce a couple of new characters, and in order to have those new characters, they sort of have to rewrite the timeline of how things actually occur in Master Chief's history, like when they see certain things or when they uncover certain secrets or whatever like that. Overall, it's just a really good sci-fi show. If you just kind of ignore all the
distance yourself from the video game.
You have to, you have to separate yourself from what you would expect if you played the game a lot and you know the characters.
They definitely spent the money on the show. It's very pretty.
It looks good. All
the way the aliens
look,
the way the
awesome.
Covenant, the Covenant, the spaceship, all the space battles. The Covenant are like these big CG dudes,
but they look excellent.
They look excellent. They spent some good money on the effects.
How many seasons is it now? Is it 2 or 3?
This is the second
season. The season ender is this coming Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. Only 8 episodes each season.
Huh?
Gotcha. Yeah, like with me, when the game came out, I would just throw the game in, never play the campaign, just go right to the multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
gotcha. Just blow people up.
I don't really know much about the lore unless you're talking about my kills. You know,
there's a couple of scenes that I was floored by because the set design that they had for some of the scenes are like exactly from the game, or at least the vibe. At least the vibe of it. You know, the way
you're making me kind of want to watch it now.
It's still worth watching. I mean, I complain about certain story elements, and they treat certain characters a certain way that's a little different from the game. Like some characters are kind of heroic in the game, or you look up to them as like father or mother figures, and they're actually like devious in the movie or the show for some reason, and they change a lot of things. And we don't like change.
Kevin Green said you would make you could create a better Cortana.
I'm always up for creating Cortana.
He's just referring to the fact that Cortana had less outfit.
Okay.
Right?
Other than the helmet thing and maybe some story things, I can complain that Cortana doesn't look right in the show. She looks a little hokey in the show. But you know what? It's you let some things go, because the other things that they do in the show that are good are really good. So
and I also think with Cortana, I mean, visually she's supposed to be an AI. So they don't want to make her look real. Like if they made her look real like the Covenant, you wouldn't get that feeling that the Covenant is real.
She is the only character on the show that looks like cosplay.
But that's what I think. But that's what
because it's like she's a hologram. Why not just make her a freaking hologram instead of having her actually be a flesh and blood actress? I mean, they still have the actress there doing the screen capture, doing the motion capture.
So you're saying go more CG, make her more
CG, for her, because she is a hologram. Make her look like what she actually is, instead of making her look like a real person that's standing in the room.
You got to justify the paycheck for the person, dude.
That's
part of the new STAG agreement.
That's true.
Every time I see Smeagol on screen, he looks fantastic, and that actor didn't complain one bit.
but again, like Smeagol's supposed to be real, right? Just like the Covenant character is supposed to be real. I think.
But what I'm saying is, you never saw the actual actor when you saw Smeagol.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fair.
There's no reason why I need to see the actual actress.
But he was also playing 14 other people in the same movie, so it wouldn't have really worked.
I always like to point to Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta. That guy just stayed behind a mask.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, yeah. See, that's integrity. That's integrity to the character.
Second Dredd movie.
There you go.
What's his face?
Carl.
Took his
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Yep.
And fun fact. This is one of my favorite fun facts, and we should probably put a sword in it after this one.
Yeah.
But if you look back to the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles feature film.
Right.
The original one, the very first one.
Yep. The actor who played Raphael, Josh Pace, was the only actor to actually get into the suit and do the voice.
Oh,
Every
really?
other turtle
Nice.
was
Okay.
a voice actor and
Right.
a body
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
He was the only one who actually said, "No, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get
Oh,
into
so
the
that was
suit."
on his request, huh?
Yeah. It was really
Interesting.
cool.
I love
What is-
that.
I always
movie.
love that.
Yeah, that
original
first
one
Turtle movie is
so
a classic,
good.
dude.
What's
It's like,
interesting
I
is
love
that he
that
doesn't
movie.
make convention.
I just love when
appearances, so I guess it didn't
Casey
make a
Jones
difference.
just straight up murders the shredder and the garbage. disposal.
Casually.
He's like,
Casually.
whoops, you know, like, with the switch.
Yeah,
So funny.
that first Turtle movie is like, it kind of represents an era, the same way
It
the original
does.
Crow movie represents an
Yeah,
era.
yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
it also, again, it had the Henson magic.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
which
right.
doesn't
definitely.
exist anymore.
While we're on that subject, how bad does the new Crow movie look? Do you guys?
Dude,
breaks
okay,
my heart.
let me tell you one thing that would actually fix the entire trailer to that Crow movie.
Okay.
You do not make the movie about Eric Draven and Shelley.
Right.
That's the only because they're different characters already, the different backdrop, different backstory. It's a different movie. It's not goth.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, I
80s
I
music.
feel like they got a great actor for the Crow.
No,
but,
I think
it's
the
not
response
Eric
to it.
Draven.
I think the response to it would be actually kind of positive. It's like, oh, it's John Wick brought back from the dead with a crow. Because the hook of the movie is the crow, not Eric
Yeah.
Draven.
Yeah, right.
Eric Draven's story was told and it's finished. You know, and especially because Brandon Lee died in that movie, we're connected to that. Right? It's
Mhm.
like it's almost like you're stepping on it instead of homaging it. You know what I mean?
Now, I will say that visually, they got Obar's art down.
Mm.
Oh no, that's what I'm
If
saying.
you just remove the tattoos.
The trailer.
Garbage,
The
flash
trailer,
art.
yeah, the trailer I think would be completely accepted because I see the vibe that they're going for, and I see, but the only thing
You're
that
right,
kind of
they're
makes me
focusing too
angry,
much on the love story between
yeah,
the two.
well, it could be a love story. In fact, every single movie that they do with the Crow should be about the Crow, and the two characters that you have as your main characters can be completely different every single time.
Yeah, I
Different-
agree
A
with
different
that. Like
tragedy,
they did
a
with the
different
sequels.
era, a different, yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
because
They weren't great, but like at least they did somebody different. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and they
you know,
tried
it's
to
like-
do something new with it. You
And
know?
there's no Ernie Hudson. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm just bitter.
No, T-Bird, I got your money, or whatever he said. Skank, or whatever that guy's name
That
was.
ain't skank.
That ain't
Skank
scary.
right there.
I feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook.
Yeah. That
Oh
movie's
my
so
gosh.
fun.
Yeah, I think
But,
that's the only thing they needed to change was that, and then people can accept or not accept the movie on its own merits.
Yeah.
From there,
I think
if you,
so,
if you
too,
like it and
and,
don't
like-
like it, that's totally cool. But
Like
making
that's one I'll probably maybe check out when it's on streaming.
I'll
you know?
definitely see it when it's streaming. I'll definitely see it when
I
it's.
don't think
streaming.
I'll run
Yeah.
out to the theater to see it.
I might
but-
not run out, but I mean, if it lasts a third week, I might see it.
So,
Oh, so if
I
you
saw
think if it's successful and it
Well,
stays
if
in,
it-
and you might
yeah, well, or if there's
bargain
nothing else
Tuesday.
coming out- if there's nothing else coming up behind it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch a
That's true.
bootleg cam out of disrespect.
simply because
Johnny,
they
did you watch
disrespected
the play?
Eric Draven.
Yeah, right.
I
And as the camera moves.
yeah. I saw too many parallels in that trailer between this movie and
Mhm.
1997 Spawn that I just
Oh yeah.
completely got
Oh, you know
distaste.
what? Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's the
Think
homeless
about that,
guy
but
that seems
yeah.
to adopt him in.
Right.
There's the supernatural superhero crashes a black tie gala.
Right,
Like
right.
there's so many parallels. And then the other thing that really like cheeses me off is that in the comic and in the first movie,
Mhm.
Eric and Shelley were kind of just victims. They
Mhm.
were, it's all inconsequential. And then in this, it seems like it's, they die because Shelley may have seen
She saw
something or
right. It wasn't
right. She's a witness.
It's such a different.
It changes
story.
everything.
Yeah, it changes
Yeah, it
everything.
doesn't
So
make
there was
Much the revenge. The revenge is like because of what happened originally. You know.
yeah,
Right. Because it was
and
so
it further gives you a reason that there's actually no reason to name them Eric and Shelley.
Absolutely
They're
not.
They're different. It's a whole
well,
different
except
ball of
they
wax.
have to call them that in order to keep the license.
Is that what's happening?
Is that what it is?
Well,
that
think
what?
about it. That's what you license. Do you license those characters to use? Because he's never called the Crow. right?
Right.
They licensed Eric Draven.
So they have one flashback with Eric and Shelley to kind of like touch stone the original and then do their movie the way they want.
And for all we know,
you could have even
might
shown
go
like
that
all the
way.
different versions of the crow
It
throughout
might also
history.
been a crappy
Yeah,
edit.
exactly.
That
Like
would've
there's
been
different
cool.
spawns throughout history.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have worked better.
Yeah,
Really
I
would've
like that
worked
idea
better.
a lot more. Yeah.
Shit, get us in. Let's get a meeting with the director.
No focus groups with these people.
I
No
know.
focus groups.
Right?
Focus
Like
groups. They
honestly,
got 30
like
years of comic books and they don't pay attention to that crap.
I know.
What are you talking about focus groups?
I wonder
wouldn't
how
have
James
made it-
O'Barr feels. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
the
that's
other
his
thing
I
work,
wouldn't have
right?
done.
I'll tell you right now, he doesn't like it just because he hates everything.
Oh god,
And
he's down there big
I
time.
love James. I think he's the
and I
best.
love him. He's the
That's
best.
that's the
It's
other thing I
phenomenal.
don't like about it is it looks too slick to me. Like a
Mhm.
Crow movie should be gritty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
it should look
They
like
don't know how to make movies
like a
that
Death Wish
anymore.
movie or something. It shouldn't be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this slick John Wick.
And I think that's
Right,
also the problem
yeah,
with
yeah.
high resolution now is because of the fact that everything's going to be seen. They don't understand set dressing in that element anymore.
Mm,
That's an art that no longer exists. Now the
yeah,
art
absolutely.
is everything shiny? Okay, great. We'll throw a filter on top of it to make it look dirty.
Right.
And it's like, no, that's not how
It's not the
real
same.
grittiness
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
it's kind of the difference between looking at a movie that had like practical effects with creatures and CGI creatures, and seeing the difference there, and seeing, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
There's a
even just the
certain
way
charm
people
to that.
reacted and behaved to a practical puppet was a lot more believable
different.
than what they do
Yeah.
against the CGI creation.
And against the tennis ball, absolutely,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
because that's all it is.
That's one thing. That's one thing I think you'll like, Keith. Is in that Halo show, all of the CG characters actually they spent a lot of money on that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
they look pretty slick.
Yeah, and no
I
one
saw
ever
that
looks like they're not
Spielberg was a
looking like them.
producer or something, so I figured it had money behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's on
They're pretty
Paramount. I mean, those guys are throwing money at it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Look
That's
at that
cool. I'll
Yellowstone
check
money.
it out on you guys' recommendation. I was avoiding it, but I was also seeing the commercials, and I'm like, I wonder if it's good, and just people, the rest of the world's wrong, you know? I always heard how bad it was.
But
and
I
I was-
will
Definitely, there's legitimate reasons to
Yeah.
be mad at certain elements. So you know
Yeah,
that
But I
going
would
into
say if
it.
you're
at
gonna
least.
watch it, Keith,
Yeah.
watch season 1 and season 2 back to back-ish,
Mm,
because I watched season 1 when it aired, and I'm now getting caught up in season 2, and there was enough of a gap in my brain because I have other nerd stuff going on inside of it to
Right.
where I'm like, why is this character relevant? I can't remember why this character is relevant.
Right. Yep,
And
yep,
they're
yep.
making him very relevant, and all of a sudden it goes, oh, that's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Now the
Oh yeah.
person
That's who she,
who
that's
was
who she
with
is.
so-and-so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But by that point, I'm already 3 episodes in,
right,
and
right.
I'm like, now I'm annoyed, because
Yeah, right.
it's not happening properly.
I'm an advocate for the week to week episodes,
Yeah.
like because that gives fan base a time to catch up,
Yeah.
all be on the same page, and so on forth, right? Because when you drop all shows at once, I'm at the second to last episode and somebody else is halfway through. It's real tough to chat about stuff, right?
Mm,
But for this show specifically, for Halo, I like binge watching it only because when there's a bad episode, it really sticks out when it's a week to week, right? Because you're like, oh, that episode wasn't that great, and you're waiting
you're
another
right.
week to get a good one.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's good
All right,
thinking.
yeah,
That's
I'll
good thinking, especially for this one. For this.
Yeah, it's for this,
It's
yeah.
series-
So yeah,
series
definitely wait,
specific.
binge it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take you guys' recommendation.
After this
There you go.
Thursday, you can hit it all.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Awesome. And on
pizza.
that note, let's start wrapping this up. I mean, I love
Yeah, but
chatting.
this was a good time, dude. Yep.
Yeah, it's been great. But if Bill and Tom, if you guys want to give like your social medias out to people, where they can follow you, if you guys got a YouTube channel, that kind of thing, go for it.
For me, it's just committedcomics.com is the
Okay.
website. And then on Instagram, it's committed.comics. And then on Twitter/X, it's committed comics. So,
Okay.
well, one
How
word
about you,
there.
Bill?
You could find me. It's right there on my name tag. I got billmaus.com as my website. I got an online store there, and I got all my social links are on the website, so that we can kind of branch out and find me in all the different places. And if you do just do a Google search for Bill Maus art, one word, you'll find that I'm in all kinds of different places. So my Facebook is also Bill Maus art, and Instagram, Bill Maus Art. So you'll be able to find me that way.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Harry, Johnny, anything you guys want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Harry?
Not really. I mean, I'm just working on some personal stuff, like I started something today, and it's like random ideas that I'm just now getting to, but nothing. I have a whole list, of things that I want to do, but I just don't have time. And then when I do have time, like, I just want to rest and sleep.
Welcome to middle age, man.
Sleeping is my favorite activity.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Absolutely. Johnny, you have
Yeah, no, I just want to take this minute to thank Tom and Bill for, taking time out of your very busy schedules to come on the show, sharing your projects with us,
Thanks, bro.
hanging out with our audience, hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks, bro.
absolutely.
You're
I love
awesome.
it. It's so much fun. So I'll come
Yeah, I
back
love having you
anytime
guys on. So you guys have to come on like, quarterly or,
We'll bug you more often. I'm starting to get a
twice
little
a
bit
year
more,
or something.
I'm getting more familiar to actually hanging out with my internet art extended family.
Even
as
if
it
we just
were.
talk
Yeah,
a
yeah.
half hour like we just did about movies and stuff. That was
That's
a lot of
fun,
fun.
yeah.
No, it's good
Fun to
stuff, man.
chit-chat.
We need to have this. So this is good. This is good stuff.
Yeah, definitely breaks up the
Monotony.
well, more just like every episode's just like a Kickstarter promo,
Right,
Breaks it
promo.
up a little bit,
Yeah, just time
As
to
I
get
draw alone in my dungeon by
Yeah.
myself for months at a time.
I definitely
trying to make it sound all dreadful. It's not dreadful. We got a
Yeah.
puppy with them. Please.
I want to thank both of you guys for coming on as well. And then also remind everybody that if you are watching this tomorrow, just go click the link real quick for the Kickstarter. It's in the description of the video. And Bill is giving out this amazing, or this is going to be going to one of the backers
Yep.
randomly. They're going to put a number in the randomizer, and whatever backer number comes out, they're getting this original piece of art, which is at least worth $400 or $500.
Yeah. I
if
mean,
not
again,
more.
you can be a digital backer. You can literally get the $6 PDF tier and have the same chance.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
incredible.
who's getting all the covers and every single merchandise. And granted, we would like you to do all the covers and all the merchandise. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And you
but-
guys got less than 23 hours to back this. So check it out. Help them. They've already crossed the finish line. So the book's happening no matter what.
Yep. I just need to make Bill draw some more stuff so we can make another free enamel pin.
There you go.
What are you talking about?
This
All
new
right,
Bill.
this is the fun of having my camera above my table. So just so you know,
right. Amazing.
So, and again, if we can hit 20,000 on the campaign, every physical backer gets a Nira X Lego minifig.
Oh, nice. That's
awesome.
cool. Yeah, I
Literally
like
giving that away.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Yeah. So definitely.
Tom
help-
is crazy.
Because I'm insane.
Yeah.
I'm a guy, and I'm like, hey, we can do this. I can make
Yeah,
this.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
You need one of
And,
those umbrella hats to wear. Like
Yeah,
these
right.
crazy deals.
You
That's
see me
amazing.
holding a sign on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Spinning.
And one more thing I wanted to mention before we close this out. Don't forget, we got Plastic City Comic Con happening Saturday, July 20th, Leominster, Massachusetts. We got over 150 tables, a lot of great artists, writers, creators, crafters coming to the show, and only $10. You can't find a show
That's
that
good.
big anywhere in the US for $10. So
that's just fun.
yeah, so come and we want you to spend your money with all the vendors. We also have Jimmy Hart coming, the WWE legend.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
When
One of the
is he
greatest managers of all time is going to be at the show.
Check
so
it out.
check
That's
it
cool.
out.
That's cool.
When is he
Hell
going to
yeah,
cut the
I love
commercial?
Jimmy Hart.
Did he do the
What's that,
commercial?
Harry?
Did he do the commercial yet, or
Not yet. Don't worry. Once I have it, that'll
Yeah.
be on
I know, that's what
that'll
I'm
be on
he
the
can-
beginning
You
intro.
can cut a hell of a promo, let me tell you.
Sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, that commercial you had at the beginning of this one for Plastic City, that was pretty funny.
Oh, was that great? Yeah, we
group-
paid
the
for that
group,
one last year.
Yeah,
But
the
it
group
was-
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they did such a good job with that. It came out so good.
That
So
was fun.
we're hoping we get another one for this year, but we'll see. We'll see what the
Yep.
budget is,
Yep.
But
Yeah.
all right, everybody, thank you for joining us. record number of people watching us tonight. Honestly, it's been amazing. So
Wow.
thank you guys for supporting the channel. And like I said earlier, if you're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever, come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, help us get over the 1,000 count subscribers, and get our watch hours in so we can get monetized and get out to more comic fans, especially indie comic fans, so have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. And most importantly, everybody, read comics. All right, everybody, we'll talk to you later, and have a great week. Bye.
Be excellent.